All right. We are up.
Cool. Doesn't look like we are up. Usually when we're up, there's like a timer.
I see a timer, and I see that 2 people are watching from YouTube.
Look at that. Look at that. You
Indeed.
see more things than I do.
It's because of the lack of glasses. Everyone knows glasses stop.
It's not how glasses work.
So we're having a technical issue for a second where
Hello,
this meeting
Nolan.
does not want to open from a browser. So I'm trying to fix that right quick. But then we will be good to go.
Should I like read post? Oh, look, now the stream is live.
The stream's been live. That's how
I've just been informed that the stream is live. I'm good, Nolan. I'm glad you're good.
That's your internet sucking ass.
It's not, though. It's really not. It's only StreamYard. Only StreamYard gives me these problems. Should we like just act out what we think is happening in the LNC meeting right now?
I don't have a ukulele with me.
I can throw something that I can pretend is shit and make monkey noises.
That's likely what's going on. Why is this doing this?
Joe is appreciative of my monkey noises.
He would be.
Cal, if you don't fix this in 1 minute, I am going to start singing the International.
That's fine. I'll start humming the USSR anthem back at you.
Why did that just happen? There we go.
Why did you freeze? I don't know. It's probably your internet.
It's not. My router is fine.
Is it?
Yes. No, Joe, that was an LNC. Meetings are sometimes conducted like monkeys throwing poop. Sometimes. That's what happens, actually, though. Like, because most of the major parties do that too. So we're just becoming more evolved.
Why? Like, everything that supposedly works is not working for this. Devin said that this is easy for him too. I don't know why this is happening.
Devin is on call. You can.
I already poked him.
Okay.
Search settings.
Joe wants to know. Joe wants to know if you registered the Zoom meeting, Kyle.
I did. I can get it to work.
But you're just choosing not to.
No, I can get it to work, but it only shows in the app, and I need it to be through a browser tab because StreamYard is awful, and people keep using it because of Jeremiah. That's why we're in StreamYard.
Wait. It's not the only reason we're in StreamYard.
It's literally the reason.
It's not the only reason we're in StreamYard.
StreamYard is awful. Okay, that will supposedly fix this. We'll see.
I will take requests from the audience for things to do. Within reason.
Are you afraid someone's immediately going to be like, for sure?
I mean, it's a bunch of libertarians. I don't know what they're into.
Zoom is dead. Completely down. So... ukulele. See skies of blue, red roses too. Mine does not work this way. I don't understand how like Devin gets this to work. It my guess is it's a problem because I have paid Zoom, and so it will not allow me to join through a browser.
You've paid Zoom, so it's become more inefficient, is your claim.
Effectively, yes.
Wonderful.
Well, technically, it's more efficient. It goes straight to the thing, but it doesn't work.
Should I tell the soup story? Should I entertain people by telling is the soup story a good crowd pleaser? What do you think?
Worth a shot.
You sound very non-committal.
I'm busy being angry, so it's nothing against you here. John is also recording so that we can put a thing up later.
Well, wait, why can't we just like take John's stream if he gives us permission? Can we do that? Can we grab that? Yeah, Rebecca says don't be angry. Ask John if we can leech his stream.
Are you just not watching Discord? This is all going. Hey Tim, we're too stupid to learn how to do this at the moment. So
hi Tim. No, there is going to be an official LP stream. Kyle is just new to the computer. We're just teaching him how to use the internet.
See, the issue is everybody uses shit-ass StreamYards and things, which doesn't let you stream sound from an app without streaming your entire desktop, which is absolutely asinine, and it's one of the reasons that I hate this thing. But luckily, Liberty Centuries is a streaming. It says he's streaming. It is not live. Holy desktop icons? Whose desktop icons did you see?
I don't see any desktop icons. Rebecca, can you see Kyle's desktop icons? Yeah, I guess she can see your desktop icons, which is crazy.
I don't know how.
Oh no. Oh, okay, well, never mind. She's joking. So in 1916, this is a story while Kyle tries to set up Zoom. This is a story that you should all stick with because it's about Leon Trotsky getting soup dumped on him. Okay, so you want to stay tuned for this. So in 1916, Leon Trotsky was not in Russia. He got kicked out. So he was in New York. He was in the Bronx. This is a true story. He was in the Bronx and he was fond of a particular Jewish dairy restaurant. For those of you who don't know, there are Jewish dairy restaurants because when you keep kosher, you keep like milk and meat separate. So if you have dairy, that has to be prepared a certain way away from meat and so on. So there's this Jewish dairy restaurant that Leon Trotsky enjoys going to in the Bronx. And Joe, you're going to enjoy this. It's like I said, he gets soup dumped on me and I spoiled it for you. He goes to in the Bronx and he's quite a fan. He's a regular, but there's one problem, which is that he doesn't tip. You see, Leon Trotsky believes that
whole hog only
is an affront to the dignity of the working man. Keep in mind, this is a family restaurant. This is a family of Russian Jewish immigrants, but no, he's not going to tip the family. He's not going to tip the workers because the workers' families should be giving them the money. They should be giving them a good salary. So he tries to encourage all of the other diners there not to tip as well and tries to get them involved in it. They're not having it. They think he's a blowhard. So the waiters, of course, because they want to get tipped, they just stop waiting on him. So he'll go in there at the beginning of the day and he'll just have his paper out. This is a true story. And just sit and read the paper for hours until finally one of them relents and ends up waiting on him. This goes on and on and on, but he continues not to tip until at one point, the waiters all get so angry that they collectively dump hot soup on him in the middle of the restaurant, thus overturning the superstructure. And it was a true revolution. I am slowing down the story because I feel like Kyle has got something. Have you got the meeting up? No? Oh, okay. At any rate.
I can hear them now.
You can hear them. Okay,
but there's no
fantastic.
video.
Great. Yes, no, it was well-deserved. Thank you. Devin messaged you, by the way. Did you see it? And now I'm just alone. Now Kyle is gone. No, but it's true. That's the thing. It's not a pun joke. It literally happened. He was in New York getting soup dumped on him. He actually ended up making kind of friends with one of the waiters there, bumped into them outside of waiting tables, got to talking with him, and started to insist that everyone in America was starving because, it's a capitalist hellhole. So everyone in America is clearly starving. The waiter's saying, no, that's not true. People here have enough to eat, like they get paid, they have enough to eat. And he says, no. I know for a fact that, dude, Joe, I want to see LNC too, okay? I am the only, here we go. Because I know for a fact that everyone here is starving.
Ben's going to stream from his, I think.
Awesome, that's wonderful. Because when I gave my landlord 3 months rent up front, my landlord was just overcome and took off. And so my landlord is clearly starving. Leon Trotsky is refusing to tip waiters, but is worried about his starving landlord. This is a man who is committed to his bit. Absolutely. Do we have this meeting now? Finally.
See? Nothing from Devin either.
Oh, wait, he still doesn't have audio?
It's there. Do you see it?
Join audio by computer. He's clicking on it.
I didn't understand the question, but I would be happy to answer it, or the intent behind the motion if the question were repeated.
Yeah, just this without pay would not preclude paying back any expenses incurred while executing those duties.
Oh, I see. Well, no. So, and in that case, we now have an FSC. So all those reimbursements and everything would go through a different body. So if they were legitimate reimbursements that needed to be done, presumably, just like any other organization, before at least no company that I've ever worked for, and I think that most would agree, you would never just be able to spend money and then request a reimbursement. So the reimbursement would have to be approved first. You would have to know that said expense up to a certain amount of money would be reimbursed, and then a motion would be made, or it would be doled out to the appropriate committee to review those reimbursements and make sure that everything is in line. But if that answers your question.
Yes, thank you.
All right, I don't see any more hands. So discussion going once, discussion going twice. Mr. Martin.
If it's appropriate for me to, I'll try not to take too much time. One thing I would just say, Mr. Chair, is that worked for a lot of companies, and petty cash is a pretty common concept, and it's important. And it looks like we've got kind of some cutout for that. But for a national level organization, there's a legitimate question over whether or not that's enough. I think that the key on preventing abuses is going to come down to transparency, oversight, and reporting, and really following through on those much more than trying to create a policy that says you can't get reimbursed unless, because the fact is that we all have been in situations where that kind of thing is required for some kind of mission critical expense. It happens. And we want to make sure that our people's hands aren't totally tied. That'd just be my 2 cents I would add on this. I yield.
I would have preferred to have heard that on a song.
Mr. Chair, I can't raise my hand for some reason.
I see
we
your
do
hand.
not have. Yeah.
I don't know. Did anybody catch what she said before her internet died?
I did not.
She said we don't have petty cash, but I have my hand raised, Mr. Chair, if I could be recognized.
Go ahead, Ms. Hayes.
So pay, as far as I understand the word, means remuneration for a performance. That's not the same as a reimbursement. This is silent on reimbursement, so I think that's fine. I think it's not contemplated by this. So there's nothing for or against it. So I think this being silent on it leaves it up to the discretion of the FSC. And I yield.
Mr. Nana.
We're already at time for all these items. I call the question.
All right, we have a question is called Mr.
Well,
Dar.
if we're at time, we don't need to do a vote to call the question.
Yeah, we can just go to the next. So we can
I'm sorry,
vote
Mr.
on-
Chair. I believe Mr. Nana, it was incorrect. This was 15 minutes and we're only 10 and a fraction minutes into this.
Did we start at 7:09? That's my fault. I thought we started earlier.
Gotcha. Well, did you still want to call the question or?
Yes, absolutely, please.
All right. Is there a second on calling the question?
Second.
I'll second.
Somewhere right now.
All right.
Phil
Those
Ryan is
in
watching
favor
this
of calling the
happen, just
question,
like,
please raise your hand.
Just like
Don't like it either.
Secretary, I know you can't raise your
Yeah.
hand, so you can just let me
Also
know.
not a good idea.
I mean, can we ask if there's objection?
6, 7, 8.
What would the
1, 2,
question like
3,
to be
4,
called?
5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
It's Pride Month, so whatever it would like.
I
10.
didn't object.
I think
just
that's
said we should ask.
2/3.
How
All
would the
opposed
question prefer to be
to calling the question, raise your hand.
I'm always opposed to
Okay.
calling the question.
So we're going to
I
go ahead
want
and move
death and
on
chaos.
to calling the question passes. We'll go ahead and move on to a roll call vote. Ms. Harlos, whenever you're ready.
Sure. And what was the vote count? If you're going to count, I need to.
I believe it was 10. I saw 10 hands raised. I don't know if yours was up, and then Miss Yanuskavich still has her hand up. I don't know if that's an artifact.
Well, I'll just put by raise of hands when we
Yeah.
don't know the exact number.
Butterflies flying away.
Okay, one moment, which passed. By raise
Okay,
of hands.
so since this is kind of a down point
Well,
in
it's
the
actually
meeting,
show of hands, but I'll
I'm,
get back to that.
I'm going to get
All
people
right.
to start giving us
So
their ideas on what's going to happen
we
tonight.
Doing
Personally,
a roll call vote.
I think that this is going
Was this
to
motion
go
number
to,
7,
like, nothing
Mr.
in the end.
Malagon?
Yes, Ms. Harlos.
Okay.
So we're going to see
Want to make this a little
this
smaller?
go all the way through, and it takes so long to get through
Mr. Boast?
the common sense bylaw updates from last time that this is going to roll over to a third session.
I'll come
without,
back to you,
Yes,
Mr.
yes.
A
Okay.
question
Yes.
being called on New Hampshire. and
Mr.
California.
Chatterton,
That's my guess.
Yes.
Mr.
Like
Dar,
to
Yes.
prison a motion to dump
Mr.
soup on
Dassin?
everyone
Yes.
Mr.
without
Ford.
fear or favor.
Yes.
I will vote yes. Ms. Hayes,
Aye.
Mr. Lamb,
Yes.
Mr. Malagon,
Aye.
So
Mr. McGee,
Aaron's here.
Aye.
Mr.
Is
Nana,
Chatterton here?
Yes.
Mr. Redpath,
Yes.
Mr. Thompson,
I didn't hear if Andrew
Mr.
Chatterton
Benson?
actually responded or if that was Wiley, etc. Did anyone hear that one?
Yes.
No.
Mr. Watkins.
Joe,
I'm
I don't
sorry, I
know
didn't hear you.
how to do polls, or I would.
Oh, thank you. Ms. Yanuskavich.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Chair, it's 16-0-0.
Motion passes. Although I don't think I voted.
You don't, if you don't mind me explicating, generally the chair doesn't vote unless it's to
Correct.
cause or make a tie. But symbolically, at times, the chair
For
does
StreamYard
vote if they
polls, we
want to
need
send a signal of
Addition to be done.
everyone voted and everyone voted yes.
Because StreamYard sucks.
Roger. I wasn't
you
sure
wish
if that
to-
was an abstention or if that was.
I
considered something else.
usually count it as an abstention, but do you
What
want
did you
to
hear,
vote,
Joe?
Mr. Chair?
No. That's fine. I do not wish to vote.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Dar, you have your hand raised?
Can we
Yes,
mute
we are now out of time. I move to extend by 20 minutes.
Motion to extend by 20. Is there a second?
Second.
Any objection to extending time by 20 minutes? Hearing
No,
none.
but I really hope it doesn't take 20 minutes.
Hopefully.
Mr. Nana missed Grand Rapids.
You have always
There's
been
a
able
reason
to
why we're
say
here.
without consequence to
All
the
right.
LP
We are on
that the LP
to
is whatever you think it
common
is.
sense motion number 8.
Wow.
That was
being in
always
the
an
LP.
option.
Mr. Malagon.
That
Thank you,
was
Mr.
always an
Chair.
option.
Common sense motion number 8. I will just go over the proposed amendments. So it's the current language would be amended under section 1.08 financial matters, subsection 5 credit cards and expense reimbursements. The new language would read, so a lot of text that seems to be antiquated and is unnecessary has been struck from the language. So the new final language would read, all expenditures shall be evidenced by receipts. The FSC shall be required to approve in writing all expenses and expense account reimbursements in excess of $200 made to the executive director or any LNC member
It's because
prior to
Amanda's
payment.
pretty.
No advances shall be made. No officer shall approve their own expenses. So again, this is common sense. 200 is a reasonable amount. I believe this was the amount given by the executive director when this was discussed with her as something that could be necessary. In writing is specific. That language is specific because in writing could mean a Teams chat. It could mean a text. It could be something that we could
We
point
should
to
have a
that
bingo
says
sheet.
that the FSC did approve this.
We should have.
Again, the purpose of the FSC, for those that may not
Guys,
remember,
put
we're
in
not Grand
suggestions
Rapids,
for a bingo
is
card
to
in the
serve as
chat
kind of the
for this
EPCC
meeting.
of financial matters. So they're to be attentive and understand that things should be happening in real time, and they need to be on their phone ready to go to not prevent any sort of delays. Not that anything should happen in that case, but no different than the EPCC, APRC, and I think those
Very
are the only
good.
two committees that require immediate attention. So
As a reminder, since
yeah.
Tim is pointing out there's an amendment to the amendment,
All right,
Rhoda
is there a
says that you
second?
can only go two amendments deep, so
Second.
hopefully there won't be an amendment to the amendment.
Seconded. Mr. Malcolm, did you want to
I feel like
speak
he's
more to your
also
motion? Or?
suggesting that
No,
they
I
on the
believe
bingo
I said all
card.
that needs to be said. The reason is was
Motion
in
to
the
adjourn.
motion, and I
Joe's
just
a
kind
monster.
of did the TLDR.
So you got to make this
All right,
fun
we're
here.
now open to discussion. Is there anyone who's seeking to be
Point of
recognized?
order. Yeah, these are the chats that I want to see.
Going once.
You guys got to be more entertaining than the
twice.
LNC. Come on.
Mr. Chatterton?
Hello, bar.
What is the significance of striking the last paragraph with regard to how travel expenses would be handled without that language there?
Okay, so
If I understand
Chatterton is here.
this provides
which means that
for getting them if
Austin
incurred
Martin
during
doesn't
business,
ever have
but
the right to speak.
with
He
no
can only be
statement
allowed
on
to
them, would
speak
that be
anecdotally.
treated just as any other expenditure and fall into the process outlined in the above paragraph? Is that a correct understanding?
If I may, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead, Mr.
You
Malcolm.
can,
Thank
you can
Mr.
tell
Chair.
who is
So
from Michigan.
it's just language.
based
I'm
on
not
the
sure. Maybe
streams of
something happened once upon a time, but that
dilatory
was deemed to be antiquated language. A travel expense or reimbursement is no different than any other reimbursement. So it's just kind of to condense the language there. There was no real reason outside of the fact that it's not really necessary. Travel expenses are approved either way, or reimbursement is approved, and now we have a mechanism in which to do both. So
The
it was
motion's
just
on the screen,
seen
Catherine
to
or
be,
Karen. Sorry, it's
to do the
additional
unnecessary
strikeouts
language,
and
if
make the
that makes sense.
changes.
Yes, thank you.
That are in.
Mr. Martin?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, for recognizing me. I appreciate it. I just want to really quickly ask,
There
would
has
this
been no
apply
defense of
to
LPNH
regional
that is
travel
likely
expenses
after all of this.
for regional agreements, since those are not truly independent entities, and the expenditures there could be conceivably considered to be a reimbursement of expenses? If it did, I would be concerned about that.
Mr. Chair, may I?
Yes,
They're
Mr. Malcolm.
asking good.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So again, this
suggest-
is the LNC policy
chat. We gotta get that
manual.
close next time.
Regional agreements do not, they're irrelevant here. Whatever regions have, whatever process they have or don't have for their respective regions is outside of the scope of this policy manual.
All right. If that answers your question, Mr. Martin.
I think so. Is there any way that we can confirm whether or not that's true as a point of parliamentary inquiry?
Well, I can tell you, are you talking about travel expenses for your region? I'm a little confused.
Correct. Like at the last meeting, it cost me a considerable amount to attend. And, there were some of those expenses that I would not have been able to bill beforehand if this policy were to affect me. So I'd like to find out.
This wouldn't affect you as
Josh
a
with
region
real
rep.
questions.
This would only this is primarily for
The store.
reimbursements that have to do with staff, or I don't know, let's say we sent
Brings you
you to Freedom
$1,000
Fest or
check
something
from
like that.
Donald
If there was a reimbursement that was made, let's say a staff
Austin's
member's
asking a fair
airline
question
tickets,
here,
or they
but, like,
spent some money on food while they
Adrian's
were
already
there,
explained
those would be
this.
reimbursable expenses. But whatever you do with your region and your people is none of our business.
Excuse me.
Thank you,
Mr.
Mr. Chairman.
Nana, and then
So-
Mr. McGee.
So nothing in our policy manual or anything we put in writing at all, period, in the LNC could ever stop a state or an individual from giving you money to travel So it's irrelevant. I mean, it's impossible to govern something outside of this body with text that we create.
It's not
Mr. McGee?
100% true from
I would like
Dustin
to
there,
echo what
but
Mr. Nana said
if you're
and call the
following
question.
any
All
libertarian
right, there's a motion to
policies,
call the question. Is there a second?
like you can make it so that
Is
if
there any
you take
objection
money
to
from
calling the
outside
question?
sources, you're fired.
Hearing none, we'll go ahead and move to a roll call vote.
One moment, just so I keep up. Which passed without objection. Okay, one moment.
I'm sorry, I was having technical difficulties. I did want to, it's a really quick question that I didn't include. Would it affect?
I'm sorry, but we've already moved on past that point.
Thank you for being fair and shutting it down. You really suck. You've got syndrome back.
Susan.
It's irrelevant now, Mr. Chair.
Oh, excuse me. All right, Mr. Bost.
Yes.
Mr. Chatterton.
Hang on one
Abstain.
sec.
I'm sorry.
Abstain.
Thank you.
Hang on one sec.
Mr. Dar.
Yes.
Mr. Dassing.
Yes.
Mr. Ford.
Yes.
I will vote yes. Ms. Hayes.
Yes.
Turtlenecks.
Mr. Lamb.
They intend to
Yes.
vote on it tonight.
Mr.
But as per the
Malagon.
agenda, it is
We'll
after
vote
all
aye,
of
and as a point
these
of personal
common sense
privilege, can we
motions.
mute Sarah Bella? That's very distracting.
Mr. Chair, can you handle?
Yep, no problem.
Mr.
Done.
McGee.
Aye.
Mr. Nana.
Yes.
Okay, I thought you said pass for a moment. Mr. Redpath.
Yes.
Mr. Thompson.
Yes.
Mr. Vincent.
Yes.
Mr. Watkins.
Dang.
Oh, you said abstain. I'm sorry, your your microphone's really muddy, so I'm sorry. Ms. Yanuskavich.
Yes.
For some reason, 15 something, these abstains aren't updating. 1 second. In any event, there were two abstentions, Mr. Chair, and 13 yes. Do you wish to vote?
No.
Something appears not to be updating properly on my chart because it should add up to 17. But in any event, the votes are there. I will fix that formula. B6, 1 second. If you just indulge me 1 second. That's correct. That's correct. No idea why it's not adding up properly, but we'll manually count if we have close
We know
votes.
there's a problem, guys.
We'll fix it in post.
Yes, we'll fix it in post, but if we have close votes, we'll manually count the yeses.
All right, motion passes. So now we are on to common sense motion number 9. Budgets moved by Mr. Malagon. Would you like to present your motion?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I believe there was an updated one here. There we go. I found it. Oh, it's also on the screen, but there you go. Productivity. So this amendment is a change to section 1.08 financial matters subsection 3, and the updated version reads would read, if passed, the FSC in consultation with the executive director shall develop an annual operating budget and present it to the executive committee for preliminary approval in time for it to be presented to the LNC for final approval prior to the start of each fiscal year. That would be my motion, and I'll speak to it once it's seconded.
Second.
All right, Mr. Malagon.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So as it stands now, the executive committee does this in consultation with the executive director. That's not always the case. Not all members of the executive committee are doing that. Right now, we have the Financial Standards Committee, which we need to appoint members for, but that committee should be working with the executive director to develop a budget. So it's the chair and the executive director. But now with the FSC, presumably they would be looking at the financial statements every month and have a better grasp of what needs to be done, how the numbers need to be presented to the executive committee before it's presented to the LNC. So all it's adding is an additional step for people that should be most knowledgeable with the LNC's finances.
All right, we'll go ahead into discussion. Mr. Lamb and then Ms. Yanuskavich.
Yeah, just a basic question. Are there already timeframes in place for this? The language in your motion seems kind of vague, so I just would like to know if there are any already hard boundaries for when these would have to be submitted ahead of that financial new fiscal year.
Josh, we got to eat our vegetables.
May
Come
I
on.
answer, Mr. Chair?
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So as it stands now, the executive committee simply is supposed to be working with the executive director, and they need to pass an annual operating budget as a preliminary precaution to give to the LNC. This is always done at the December meeting. So at the end of the fiscal year, whenever the executive committee meets is based on their respective timeframe when they can. But the LNC always passes it in person, well, presumably in person at the December meeting, whether that be virtual or in person. So there's no specific time frame or outline for it, as long as it's done by December before the end of the fiscal year.
It's either this or it's stories about communism.
Okay, Mr. Chair, if I may ask a follow-up.
Yeah, go ahead.
Mr. Malagon, do you already have something in mind for what you think or
That
how it
was
will
on my
operate?
bingo
I'm
card.
just curious.
I don't understand the question.
This
I can
time
understand the
frame,
addressee.
again,
I can
assuming
address
that
that.
it has to go to the FSC before it goes to the executive committee, before it comes to us as a whole. Do you have in mind a time frame for this? And Ms. Yanislavich, if you want to answer, that'd be great too.
Right, this is what I was gonna say anyway. So as a practical matter, and I've seen this, this amendment kind of misunderstood online. This is what happens anyway, informally. Last year for the 2025 budget, Mr. Redpath, myself, the executive director and the former chair, and well, the former vice chair was invited but never attended, was started to work on the budget. You can't start like any meaningful work until, you know, pretty much the end of the third quarter, and data is in October. So that happens
Kyle,
in, you know,
are we
the beginning
volume
in
or Devin's?
October. And as a practical matter, everything
Exactly
starts
that.
with the
Are we
executive
using your
director
volume or
anyway,
Devin's?
who
sent you
has
something in
the
private chat,
numbers,
but
who
you are not looking at
who
private chat.
understands what was spent for the last year. That input, you know, the staff always start a budget. I mean, that's how things work in the government. And then it's presented up ladder for approval. So that's what this does. It just formalizes what happened the year before. Todd and I and a couple of other people worked on it. That's, you know, initially. So this is how it's worked. It's just formalizing it with the people from the FSC.
Mr. Nano?
Yeah, not only has this been historical practice, it's good practice as well. I don't think I have to call the question, so I will not.
All right, going once, going twice, going three times, no hands.
I missed
I call the question.
So we'll go ahead to a vote, Madam Secretary.
Mr. Boss? I will come back to him. Mr. Chatterton?
Abstain.
Mr. Dar?
I vote yes.
Mr. Dessing?
Abstain.
Mr. Ford?
I'll vote yes.
I will vote yes. Ms. Hayes? Ms. Hayes? Oh, sorry. Yes, sorry. I'm moving. I didn't want to
No worries.
give too much background noise. Mr. Lamb?
Yes.
Mr. Malagon?
Aye.
Mr. McKee?
Aye.
Mr. Nana?
Yes.
Mr. Redpath?
Yes.
Mr. Thompson?
Yes.
Mr. Vincent?
Yes.
Mr. Watkins?
Abstain.
Ms. Yanuskavich?
Yes.
Mr. Bost?
Abstain.
And this table added up right. It's strange. Just a weird one and that other one. They're all copies of each other, so that makes no sense. Sorry, editorial notes. Mr. Chair, it is 12 yes, 0 no, 4 express abstentions.
Motion passes. All right, next up is Convention Oversight Committee report.
I'm sorry.
Portions may be in
Motion
executive
passes.
session. We've got 30 minutes on the
Kyle,
clock.
can you turn your
Mr.
mic
Ford,
up
you have the floor,
so that
sir.
there's a better
Yes, sir.
balance
Thank you all.
of
I'm gonna
audio?
move to place this meeting into executive session.
I put
Mike
that in the
is
private
louder
chat
now.
too.
All right,
Thank
there's
you.
a motion and a second. Is there any objection to moving into executive session?
I do need a bylaws authorized reason.
Oh, because political strategy.
So move
What?
to go into executive session for political strategy requiring confidentiality.
Oversight committee.
What's the
I
strategy?
have a point of order, I suppose. And
Mis-
it would be so I will abstain from an executive session for reasons previously stated. If the secretary would be so kind as to copy and paste, I'd be happy to monitor the room in the meantime.
Yes, and I have it from the earlier part of these minutes, and I'll be sure to put that in there, Mr. Maligan.
Thank you.
Okay. Let me stop my screen share because my Zoom controls have moved around, and we will see. Mr. Maligan, you'll automatically go into executive session and then just exit it because you're on my spreadsheet to automatically go in. If this works, because I haven't done this in a while yet. Breakout rooms.
Of what political strategy are they aware? Like I want to hear the political strategy,
Rooms.
the alleged political strategy.
Why? Oh,
I was able to say not now, so I think it won't.
okay. It's not showing me the other room though, which is weird. Mr. Dar, Mr. Ford, Mr. Dassing, are you guys going into the? Okay, for some reason.
Ms. Hayes, Mr. Nana, and Mr. Boss are still out here.
Yeah, the Zoom controls are only showing me one room.
Everyone's having technology
I
problems.
don't know if it's necessary, but if you'd like to make me co-host while I'm out here, you're welcome to.
Yeah, I
It's a
will.
shameless
do that.
power grab
But
from
I am
Adrian
having
Malagon.
trouble
Shameless power grab.
Shameless.
He is now
finding
the owner of the
it doesn't appear to be opening another room. The old system. Oh, I see. Let me try this again. Move to. No, it just is having main session and I uploaded. I think what we may need to do is, Mr. Chair,
Joe, enough of this insubordination.
I don't see that room.
Phil, you just homesteaded the Zoom. Melagon is the hoppy and big man of the Zoom.
All right. You're on your own for a second.
I might
I'm
be
going
stuck
to
out
attempt
here.
one more time with a browser fix.
I'm
I
so
might,
scared.
if you make me co-host, I may be able to send you into that room.
Okay, fine. I'll stay
here.
here.
Okay, yeah.
No,
let me do
go.
that
I'm
because
joking.
It's been a
Okay,
I don't
while
need
since
you.
I've had
I don't
to
need
do
you. No, I
this.
don't. I'm not scared.
Let me make
I have
you
the chat with me.
co-host.
Chat, you guys are with
I'm
me.
stuck out
keep
here
her
with
safe,
you
Joe.
guys too.
Okay.
No,
The best place to be.
And Bill Redpath as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, there he is. Okay, let me see if I can do that. So
It's only showing one room, but some people are someplace else.
It's a very dark room.
Oh, this is what purgatory is like for all of you non-Catholics.
Oh, good. Nice to know.
You see what I'm seeing? How weird it is?
Yeah, it's not letting me throw anyone anywhere.
Neat.
Actually, give me 1 second. Let me try with Hal. See. No.
It's only showing main section, even though it says breakout rooms in progress.
Wait, Karen,
Correct.
you want a bingo for like listing parliamentary
Odd.
processes, though. I don't know if that counts.
Well, let me see. Hold on. Breakout rooms. Oh, hold on. I think I can do. Let me see what happens when I assign you. Is this in alphabetical order? Carlos.
Next time we'll do an actual bingo game, and the winner can
Let me
send a
try to write
photo of their winning
Assigned to
card, and they will be
executive
sent
session.
an
I think I
official
can. Okay,
LP
hold on.
Alliance Death to
Let me
Kingmakers
just send
flag,
that.
which is what is in the
Assigned
background of my.
executive session.
There.
Where's Harlos? You have to take like 3.
Oh, now I see executive session.
Yeah,
Okay, very bizarre.
So let me
But I don't see me on this list.
I don't see you on the list either. You might have to exit and then re-enter. I'll
Okay.
put Alice in.
Okay, let me do that.
Ms.
Oh, if
Zarla,
I
you
do
can-
that, the recording, well, we're gonna.
I
Well, no, because
ate
we're-
Kyle.
I'm co-hosting, so we should be good.
Okay.
You should be able to join a break. They're not an option.
Okay, let me see if I can leave.
Madam
No, I only
Secretary,
have end.
I don't recall hearing a vote to actually go into executive session.
Well, I think it's a bit too late for that now. Nobody, I will alert the chair and he can do what he decides to do.
Not seeing an option to send you in. This is a problem. Oh, wait, give me 2 seconds.
Is bingo a curse? I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't have permissions to do anything with. I think as long as you're still a host.
Okay, well, let me make you the host and hopefully that won't mess. I'm gonna make host. So change host, and when we get back out, we can switch that back. So
Okay,
you
there
should
we
be
go.
the host now.
And you know, hold on, give me just a second. So
Ah,
Now there's nothing.
Anyone else?
Sounds like she found it.
Everyone's just getting beamed up into executive session.
Mr. Martin, I believe.
No, Joe, I
I'm
ate
not
Kyle.
seeing him
Okay,
on the
Kyle's no
Zoom
longer with
right
us
now, and I can't.
in
Wait
any
just a
place. Oh, damn it. Why'd you have to come back right then?
Might help if you speak.
I was
What's
just
the
telling Joe
name
that I
that's-
ate you.
I see a Jordan Martin, not an Austin Martin.
And then right then,
Austin, if you would speak, that
he
might
possibly can't hear me still.
Oh, me? Oh, I just decided to come out here and kick it with you guys.
What? Can you hear me?
Kind of up to date on what's going on.
No, that's another Kyle. What?
Well,
oh no, what did
we're
you
out
do?
here. Well, Q&A with your favorite LNC
No, I
member
have
if
it
you want.
working. So
Robert Vincent is still on this side.
It's all
unless
good.
it's another session that he
He
started.
probably has 2. Let me see. I'm not seeing him. Mr. Vincent, would you care to I don't see you on here.
Is this yours now?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I do not see him.
I
You can
have
turn
him
your
up
mic
on
down
the
now.
second page, last line.
A little bit, just a little bit.
Between Hogarth and
There we go.
Geraci.
Interesting. He does not appear for me.
Yes.
Bill, Adrian can't go into executive
Let me just
session,
do
though
a
I don't
quick
know
sweep
why. He
again.
said it was above.
Boom, boom, boom.
But
He's the owner of the Zoom. So the owner of the Zoom has to stay
No,
outside
he doesn't
and
appear for me. Maybe that's just a Zoom
gatekeep.
weird thing.
it'd be
I
fair.
tried to
Really
I
quickly.
tried to
So I have
convince
Brown,
everyone that I'd
Moore,
eaten
Arrowwood,
you.
Martin, Gelati, Reyes, Ponte, Jacobs, Moulton, Heyman, Leatherman, Hagan, Robson, Adams, Miller, Avery, Patco, Carver, Martin, Alstein, Phillies, Seebeck, Roos, Jacob, Hagan, Robson again, Adams,
What else he say
Miller,
here?
Avery, Patco
Is he just
again,
listing all of us?
Carver, Martin, Alstein, Phillies, Seebeck, Roos,
I think this is what passes for
Jacobs,
entertainment.
Shedak, Thon,
I
Steph,
think he's
Bella, Rig,
trying to do a dramatic reading of our
Hertel,
names.
Hurdle, Davis, Hogarth.
Joe,
Oh, Vincent, there he is.
he
Okay.
tasted like disappointment
Let me see if
and
I can do this.
shame
If at first he
and
succeeds, 9 million
a
times.
mortifying lack of social progress.
There we go. Cool. Good
It
catch.
still means that she ate my ass.
There we go. He should be. Yep. Now we're good. All right. I think we're good. So, if anyone has any questions, feel free to raise your hand. If I can answer them, I will. If not, I'll just keep drinking and smoking here, working on some other stuff.
Question. What you drinking?
Mr. Roos.
Well, I'll definitely also ask what you're drinking, but first, what's this motion and about that required some discussion about strategy?
I have no idea. Well, it's on the Convention Oversight Committee report that was presented in writing. So I objected to it in Grand Rapids because all reports should be provided in writing before being presented. So I
Throw
don't know
that
what's
up there,
happening
Kyle. Don't be shy.
I don't know what I think political strategy was the
No,
official reason.
no, the one below
Yeah,
it.
I think I read in the I think there was a pre-report that said that they were going to some event and trying to talk to vendors at the either Bitcoin or Freedom Fest or something. Maybe they're
Crypto
talking
whales.
about sponsors.
They were going to talk to crypto
I
whales.
wouldn't want this early to.
I
release who
heard
the
someone
sponsors
describe
or what they want.
You know what they want.
Bryce
We
Lycombe
know what
as
they want.
Well,
or
we know what
Lipscomb,
people
sorry,
would do with that
as
information.
the
to
Hector
public.
Ruse of the North today.
Fair enough.
And
Yeah,
that's
you're
just
probably spot on.
an
actually.
incredible
If I
description,
had to
in my
guess, that'd be
opinion.
my
Absolutely
guess.
incredible.
Mr. Jacobs.
Just wanted to say hello to everyone, and I did it earlier when most of you were not here. So I'm just
Hello,
saying
Mr. Jacobs.
Mr. Vincent's still here.
What's
Damn
up,
it.
JJ?
Hey, John, it's good to see you.
Let's move Mr. Vincent again. Here we go. Let's try this again.
JJ, pardon me. I'm sorry.
Wait, what is? Oh, here we go. Not joined. Vincent, can you unmute for a second?
See, Adrian doesn't
It's
know
not
any stories
Vincent.
about
That's why I'm
communists.
trying to raise my hand.
Oh.
What's up, dude?
Oh, hey, Tim, what's going on, man?
What are you drinking? It's Hector asked you.
Tim.
You didn't answer. What are you drinking?
I'm sorry. I'm drinking the Port Charlotte Laddie, so heavily peated, 10 years.
Nice, dude.
Great bottle. Highly recommend. It's a great bottle.
Oh, also, hi to LPA Alliance stream. We see you guys over there too. We got the whole swamp
Hi.
watching. We're just hanging out, seeing how everybody's doing.
Nice. I think the fireworks will come after executive session, so sit tight. It'll be fun.
Yeah. All right.
Good to see you guys. Huge fan of Swampcast, LP Alliance is there too. Good
I'm a huge fan of
Hey, can I wanna
Swampcast,
ask you a
and LP
question? How
Alliance
come
is just
the,
there.
LP is the official
That's
LP
fine.
is not streaming this on their channel right now. What the hell's up with that?
That is a good question.
It's a great question.
I will actually ask the secretary on when they return. I don't know why. It used to be that it was automatic. I'm not sure if things have changed or if it's just the recording after. Was the last virtual meeting live?
Yes. Yeah. All the stuff from Grand
Sort
Rapids
of.
was live, and the virtuals. Everything's been
But
live.
it must be a Zoom thing or something happened because my Zoom, I mean, I use Zoom every day for work, and for some reason it's been like really wonky today. I can't even raise my hand for some reason. So it must be a
Well,
Zoom update thing.
I know this is not the reason, but it could be perceived that the reason is because you're about to talk about New Hampshire and Colorado, and that's why nobody
Oh.
wants it live. So
Okay.
I'm not saying that's the reason. I'm
A
saying
true
it could be
libertarian
perceived.
entertains conspiracy theories that had not occurred to me, and I think that is interesting. I think that is a valid conspiracy.
I think you should bring it up.
I will bring it up. These are good questions. I like keeping us honest. I appreciate it.
Sounds like common sense motion number 10.
One moment. Is Mr. Vincent not desirous of being in executive
This is-
session?
Karen, I apologize. I was sent a link, but for some reason it won't let me change my name. It's not Vincent. This is Tim.
Oh,
Vincent
okay.
is like actual Vincent should be in there.
Okay.
He should be. He should be.
Okay, I got confused. Will you put me back in there, Mr. Maligan, then?
No, you're stuck here with us.
Actually,
this is
wait,
our swamp.
really quickly, while you're here, are you aware that this is not live streaming right now? Is it supposed to be on the?
Oh, it is live streaming.
Our streaming API has been broken forever. It's something I've got to task staff to try
the
to
last
figure
meeting
out.
wasn't
I upload it
streamed.
to YouTube afterwards from
The last meeting was
recording.
live streamed.
But yeah, we haven't been streaming meetings for a while now.
But you have. Yes, you did.
Okay, so you may have to exit and come back in. So it just shows that you're not joined, but I can't put you back in executive session because it shows that you already are in executive session.
Maybe someone else
You
did
might
it.
have to exit out and then come back in.
Yeah,
I'll
we
admit
should
you, and then
probably.
I should be able to send.
That
you
was at
through.
like 47 minutes.
Okay.
We should look into that.
Meeting.
Do you have that?
But if
Stamp?
that's yeah, put it in private chat.
Just for the record,
Who's not watching
they
private chat
do
now?
have on the agenda the discussion of those.
You know what? I was going to
motions
click on it. I was having a conversation
Uh,
with you.
after executive session.
It is literally the.
And I was
next
going to tell
thing
Tim that he had a
up, and
sexy
then
voice.
it's the remainder of
Tim,
my
you have a
common
sexy
sense
voice.
motions.
Tim could be sitting up here with us, but he hadn't asked.
Mr. Maligan.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if you had a chance to see that Mr. McGee's proposed PM amendment. But I was.
It's
But give me 1 second. Let me see if I can. Someone just came in. Oh, did she?
I
just go
worked to get
automatically
Tim
executive session?
elected here in Georgia.
I'm not hearing her.
No, I'm right
For
here.
our
I'm
You're
gonna
an
change
pension
it.
committee
Oh, you
chair.
came to, and
he
that's
doesn't even come
name.
to
Yeah,
be
and I'll
cuddled
change the
digitally.
name, but I didn't want to do that in the middle of you trying to do something.
Yeah, that would have messed things up. Give me just a second.
Tim, come on up here. Come on and play.
Alphabet is hard. Spanish is my first language. There you go.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, cool. Mr. Roos.
Sure. I think it's interesting example about that's in there about not sharing passwords to LP to LP or LP credentials to LP accounts, to avoid these kind of problems of confusion, our Zoom chat
right now. I just saw what you're talking about. Okay, I'm looking at it now.
It's like it's a list of interesting suggestions. Obviously needs work, but yeah.
That is fair.
Like the idea
yeah,
that I get
it now. I didn't get a chance to. I've been
hop
out
into a
and
breakout
about all
room.
day today.
There is an executive session breakout room.
The door
I wonder what
3
happens if
minutes
you click
before
that
the
one.
meeting started. Well, cool.
No, if nobody's got anything else,
Thank
I
you.
got a cross question for Hector. Hector, are you going to LPF?
If I go, it'll only be Saturday.
Well, good. We'll see you Saturday, bud.
All 37
It wasn't as
minutes.
climactic as I thought it would be. I thought there was going to be some controversial riffing, but no.
No.
No,
I haven't seen Hector in a while. Everybody knows Hector's a Fed. You want some controversial riffing? Here you go. Hector's a Fed. Everybody knows it.
Yeah, no, we know. You just said everybody controversial. If everybody knows something, like everyone knows that Adam Heyman is the worst. There's no
pretty controversial. People know.
He's nodding along. Even he acknowledges this.
You can know something that's still controversial.
In my defense, King of the Hills coming.
But can everyone know something if it's controversial?
I'm very excited for that.
conspiracy
by the way.
theory.
Can you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm very excited for that. That was
If everyone agrees, there's no controversy.
If I'm
What's
naked,
that?
controversial, even though everyone knows
I'm curious who's going to be the new voice for Dribble. The
Oh,
conspiracy.
I forgot his name, but they already announced it. I just saw it. Yes, I saw it last night.
Samuel Jackson.
It's the guy that did the voice for Cotton Hill.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he's no, Samuel Jackson was a close second, but then they thought that was weird. And then you can't just like drop F-bombs throughout, so they were like, oh, this isn't going to work out, Although it is Hulu, so maybe they can. I don't know, maybe we'll see a little bit more more spirited cursing, I guess. But I'm excited for that. I hope they don't mess it up. That was one of my favorite cartoons as a young lad, many years ago. Not as many as Heyman or Mr. Brown. I'll pick on him, but many years ago for me. But good times. Really, no questions for everyone's favorite LNC member. I'm shocked.
I have so many stories to tell
Twisted
people.
Tea,
I
are
could
you
tell
a
you a lot
woman?
of stories.
It's hot here, man. It's hot.
Drink scotch like a
Adam,
man.
This is there's an
am a
executive
woman.
session going on, and Adrian's hanging out while waiting on the
White
meeting
girl
of it.
summer is real.
If I could find some Bartles and James, I'd be all over it.
Is Joe still in the
Oh,
chat?
that's
Joe Hanush, are you still in the chat?
Joe
What's
doesn't go
Franzia? I
places.
feel like I should.
No,
have
I want to know Joe's opinion
Oh my god, I haven't heard about that in so. Isn't it the
of
box
what
wine?
was a better
That's it, yeah,
filibuster.
I
My
remember
story about
one of
the
my
soup
best
or
friends
whatever
growing up,
this
his
is.
mother used to like buy that. I think it was like Costco started being a thing, and that was the Mr. Weir has joined. Let's see, Mr. Weir, are you here? Can you hear me? Calling Mr. Weir, are you here?
For Weir.
Hey, Ben.
We should do a poll. Joe.
I'm gonna throw you into
I'm here.
Joe,
they're in
sucks.
executive session. I have opted out because
which was
I don't
worse,
like leaks
my story about the
or
soup or
breaking
what's
of
happening right
attorney-client
now?
privilege. So let me see if I can throw you in there. Give me just a minute. They're discussing some convention stuff. Where are you? Here we go. I can't throw you in there. That's really weird.
That's okay. I don't need to be there either for the same reasons.
All right, fair enough. Tight. Solidarity. I like it.
Hey, Mr. Weir, what are you drinking? What's up, dude?
I am not. I'm drinking a lot of water because I'm actually moving right now. I'm on my third 20-foot box truck. moving up to a new house. So it has been an insane day.
Well, I helped Miss Hayes move all weekend, and I've been drinking, so you have no excuse. This is sad.
I'm gonna drink tonight for sure. We made sure to pack the liquor and everything. So this was my last run. We were not leaving those bottles behind.
That's a roadie. You don't pack. God, it's like you've never done this before.
It's very punk rock of you, Ben.
Adrian,
it's not punk rock. Oh, Mr.
you
Phillips.
asked for questions.
I mean,
so I shall get.
Well, let's see. We'll entertain it. Why not?
That
Go ahead.
Was a weird.
So are
way
those
to
Star
hit
Trek miniatures behind you? They appear to be.
Oh Lord, no! It's Star Wars. Are you serious? Come on.
I'm sorry, you're right. They are Star Wars.
Boba Fett, Vader, the Imperial Shuttle, TIE Fighter, Mandalorian helmet, the Child, Ahsoka, Starship for the Mandalorian, new one, Probe Droid, TIE Bomber under the Star Wars logo.
Over the Star Wars logo? Come on.
The Tentative 4, and then down there I have Spider-Man, Avengers Quinjet, Iron Spider. Then we have Luke Speeder, San Francisco Skyline, C-3PO, R2-D2, Chewbacca. Oh, and then up here I have the Nano Gauntlet and the Infinity Gauntlet. So some Avengers and Star Wars stuff. I do like to, outside of reading and drinking, my hobby is building Lego sets.
And being really gay.
It's the right amount. It's okay. But not Star Trek.
I am
That's the
impressed
cardinal
on your
sin.
nice collection. I write science fiction novels.
He does
Well,
that.
then how
December
did you confuse
23rd,
Star Trek with Star Wars?
1919. We are somewhere near the Azores.
Absent-mindedness.
Already 3 days at sea.
That's fair.
No one seems to know whether we are
After all,
bound.
I saw them 50 years ago close on to.
The captain claims he is sailing under sealed orders.
I have a few boxes of some other cool ones. I have the Razor Crest, the Daily Bugle building. I believe I have Sanctum Sanctorum that I still have to build. I have, is it Jango Fett's? Jango Fett's Starship, Slave 1.
That one's new. Came out a
The
month
men
ago.
are nearly
You got the
crazy with
Baxter
the
building
uncertainty
nerd?
and worry over the women and
No, they
children
don't
left
have a
behind.
Baxter building. Oh, today I just pre-ordered.
What if we were to be
it came
landed
out
into
today. I was
Negan
very excited
territory?
about this. I spend way more money on Legos than I should. But they came out with Krusty Burger for The Simpsons.
Oh,
They
nice.
look really cool. And if you bought it today, well, up until tomorrow, I think. So it's like a 2-day promo. If you bought it today, you also get the Simpsons living room set. So I bought that because you got it for free or whatever. So.
Well, that's awesome. You came pretty close there to being a loser, but you got the add-on. That's awesome.
You know, we can't be as cool as you, Mr. Heyman. We don't all have all these make-believe degrees and certifications in the background.
They're all Jennifers. They're all Jennifers.
I have mine up here facing away because I'm not trying to impress anybody. I've already impressed the one person I have to. So and she's not here and she's not impressed at all, even though I went to a real school and she didn't.
Adorable.
She'll figure it out.
She'll figure it out someday. That's fine. That's true.
You have any Mexican Star Wars back there?
Mexican? What is a Mexican Star Wars? Like,
hey, who's the force?
Dune.
Man?
Like a cartel?
It's Dune.
That's
Dune.
What? How is that Mexican? How is that Mexican Legos?
Oh my god!
Because they had the land before Star Wars did. They started everything, and we took it from them.
God, you are emo. God, you're terrible.
Chewbacca is
needs to have a real question, so I'll entertain Miss Carver.
I wouldn't say the chickens.
Oh, maybe not. She did not have a question.
Yeah, I was taking me. I forgot to hit mute off. I just wanted to say for the record that the meeting in Grand Rapids was probably the most entertaining meeting I've seen from an LNC since the Yes Miss Harlow's from Nick Sarwark that started getting funnier and funnier back in the day. It was very entertaining. I think you guys got lots of laughs and made it very fun.
Well,
and it was a mixture of a lot of stupidity mixed with a lot of eye rolling, mixed with a lot of wow.
Well, may I ask you a question, Miss Carver?
Go ahead.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
In the realm of like wanting a professional fucking board, it's bad. But in the realm of it at least made the hours of idiocy more entertaining. Good.
I do what I can. If we don't laugh, we cry, right? So
No, you don't have to do either.
I think that I would like to
It's-
see, and this is coming from me, mind you.
don't have to
I
have
would very much
feelings.
like
There's
to see a
another
more
option.
professional board, but it's very clear that we are not going to get one anytime
just
soon,
ignore
if
Amanda.
ever.
It's
So
fine.
we're all
why do people
volunteers.
feel
I like to
things?
remind people this all the time. And as volunteers, we don't get paid, obviously. Well, some of us did get paid apparently, but that's neither here nor there. The rest of us
As
don't
you may
get
notice,
paid, so we have to
Amanda's
make
white,
do with
and thereby
what we
she
can.
can't
If
dance.
we just get
On the
if
other hand,
currency is
she's a
just
robot,
laughs,
and thereby she can do
so
one
be it.
dance.
But I'm
Yes,
glad I was
thank
able
you.
to. I presume I played some part in the entertainment, so I'm glad that I was able to partake in helping you make that
It's a safe assumption. I think the key to having a more professional board is to have an effective board that's good at accomplishing its missions and actually actuating results on the ground in the states, helping our affiliates and adding value to what they're doing, adding our effort behind theirs. And I think that's part of what's so frustrating for a lot of people is the antics would be a lot more entertaining and a lot less concerning if it was accomplished or accompanied rather by a lot of accomplishments and a great ground game. We just had a real trouble actually like implementing the nitty gritty of that because in my opinion, it's because we're fighting too much over trying to control what other libertarians do elsewhere. And hopefully we can find like some common ground, like, shared values that we can focus on that will help direct attention towards effectiveness and away from obsessing over people's optics. And I think some of that stuff will fall into place naturally as the organization picks up momentum going the right way and actually like winning ground. And in that way, it doesn't matter so much what we look like as what we actually do and can accomplish. Hanging coyote skins on the fence,
Austin,
punishing
you could just
misbehaving
do
politicians.
what I do and just basically ignore everything that is drama and try not to. I feed into it on Twitter, but like for the most part, I just ignore all of it, and we actually just go do stuff.
Is this like the lying round?
Without work, all the bad stuff on the back end. So people kind of
Exactly.
forget all the good stuff and the accomplishments LPNH actually has, but
Zero.
we have like probably more former board members elected than any other affiliate. We have some elected even to the state house, obviously not as libertarians, but they always will be libertarians, Ron Paul libertarians, and like we're actually doing
Look, he's
groundwork
literally
here,
always
and
been a
people
Republican. He
forget
is a
that
liberty
we're,
Republican. He helps our
they think
movement,
we're
but
just
he's
Twitter
always
accounts
been a
that, but it's not the
Republican.
No,
case.
Joe, I'm not
I
just
think
now
it's
discovering
easy
Ben
for
is a
people
liar.
to
I
forget
just
all
Oh
the
my
good work
God.
that you're doing and to
I'm-
fail to focus on that when you carry yourself in a non-professional
his
way and communicate with
assumption
others
that
in a
nobody will
non-professional way.
realize it.
I think dressing for the job you want and behaving as such really does have some impact. And
Dress
when
for
you
the job
give
I
people
want.
less fodder,
Boom.
they only have accomplishments left to look at. But that's just me.
No, this is interesting.
Sure, yeah, I
So
only
let's-
really
hold on,
listen
hold
to
on.
members,
So-
though.
Hold on,
Mostly.
Mr. Weir. Right now, let's do this. So I believe Miss Adams was referring to me being a handsome brown man in a jacket and such.
No.
But let's put that aside for a second. Quiet, Tim. So, Mr.
the
Weir,
same-
do you want to would you like to address the body right now? Well, I mean, we probably have time. It's Mr. Ford leading executive session, so we're probably here for another hour. If you'd like to speak to LPNH's work,
That's accurate.
the censure motion that's that's nigh, right?
I
right
do
now.
have a question, if I can.
Well, okay. So before we get to Mr. Weir's answer to that, Mr. Jacobs, go ahead.
Okay, Mr. Weir, am I correct that your former immediate past chair
The downside of the handsome
is,
brown men is not being able to spell
now a member
handsome.
of the state legislature?
Are you saying brown
That
men
is
can't spell
correct.
handsome?
We actually also
At least
have,
this one couldn't.
Who
the
is
one
that?
that was
Is Joe handsome?
two before
Joe, are you
Robley is
handsome?
now currently
I think Joe's handsome.
Robley Hall serving as
Joe,
a
are you
state rep,
handsome?
and then Nolan Pelletier, the chair from two
I'd
terms
date Joe.
before him, is currently
I'm not
elected
seeing
to
an
the
affirmative
board,
response.
the budget committee.
Yeah, Robley's the best. I really miss that guy. He was fun. But Mr. Weir, if you would like to speak to LPNH's work, your thoughts on the censure motion, I think that's why a lot of people are here. If you want to give us a preview as to the debate that's sure to be had in
Sure, yeah, it's basically the censure motion is just political cosplay. Nobody actually, it's
Oh,
definitely not going to
bullshit.
pass. Everyone knows it doesn't have votes. They could put it in. It's literally just make believe, something that they're trying to, collect whatever kind
No, Ben, we want to
of
see who votes for it and who
power they
votes
think they
against
have,
it. That's what's going to be valuable about this
which
motion.
they don't, to marginalize one of the
Hey,
most
Tyler.
effective affiliates in the country. And honestly,
Most effective.
Literally one of the
you know,
worst in the country.
I made my statements
You
online,
lost.
and
You
some of
hemorrhaged
it
members.
was,
Your
obviously,
state
like,
became
I mean
more
a lot of what I
blue.
say,
Your
especially in the
state
letter
became
that I
more
wrote,
blue.
where we basically put forward, like,
Oh my God.
People
we
seeing
meant
the
it
word
in good faith, and
libertarian
people
more
might
does not make
take
you
it in
more
good faith,
effective.
but that letter was put out in good faith. We had an agreement from our whole comms team, and
They lost
we really
us
wanted to
in
kind of like
LP Georgia
push things in the right direction for the LNC as a whole.
$10,000 this year.
We do care about
They have
the
knocked
overall
out
brand as
multiple huge
libertarians.
donors for LP National.
You know,
They have
and
lost more
I
money
think
for this
that,
party across
for
everyone
us to
else
be effective
than they have
free
gained
staters
in their
New
racist
Hampshire,
little sphere
we
in
should
New
be
Hampshire.
putting
It's
out the best
horseshit.
work and encouraging people to want to move here. And sometimes we don't hit the mark on that, and
Sometimes.
people might be discouraged from
Sometimes
actually
we don't
wanting to
hit the
move
mark
here
on it.
based off of a tweet or something like that. But I would encourage people to look at all the actual work we're doing outside of that. Like, we're going viral and getting media attention for actual events that we're doing and activities, putting up billboards all over the state.
1988 words.
We're actually going out and doing like real life
actual
activism,
agenda.
phone banking, and
Oh
our
my
membership's at a
God.
record high, whereas most of the rest of the LP is at a record low or in
Mother
and
of
going down.
God.
Or at least on a steady downfall. Our donors at a record high. We're doing a lot of good stuff that's encouraging people here to want to get involved. And honestly, our activists here are like probably the best I've ever worked with in the entire movement. Like I said, people will forget about that sometimes because of Twitter account. And I want to remind people that the world is definitely bigger than a Twitter account. And I understand the how serious it is to try to keep a brand and maintain things. But I also say, like, I ran for sheriff back in 2022, and people came at me for some of the negative things that were said back in those days. For the fact that libertarians, some libertarians claim that they're open borders or pro-abortion, or they were terrible on COVID. That was a big one. And those all came back very negatively on me as a candidate. And people can say the same thing now about LPNH, but that's on the complete opposite side of the spectrum. So the candidate argument, while it's valid, I do think that you have to understand that if you swing the pendulum in the opposite direction, you're just going to get more of the same. And it's going to be more, really just, I don't think it's necessary for us to be just chasing votes. I really think we deserve to put forward candidates that are principled and putting forward really like just great messaging. Problem is that that's something we just don't all agree on. I think that most of what LPNH posts, 99.9%, is probably the best in America out of all the affiliates.
Let's not get carried away, Mr. Ware.
I'm here because
Well, let's give
I'm
it.
just saying. I really think that we put forward the best messaging, but I don't think that this isn't the shit on anybody
Mother
else.
of God.
Wait, hold on. It looks like we're back. I see the chair here. Are we back?
We are back.
That's a shame.
guys-
Then Elsie didn't get a chance to. She had a question. We're having spirited discussion on questioning your sexuality, Mr. Chair, and now you're back, so we can't have that. Mr. Thompson seems intrigued. He's kind of he seems sad that he missed it.
Well, I feel like we were all thinking it, so
So yeah, we're.
I'm glad you were more productive.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Yeah, we pretty much just went through the list and questioned everyone's sexuality on the LNC, and some of the answers will surprise you. But anyway, we're back, I guess.
Is that the start of LNC after hours?
Yeah, I know we did, but it was during hours. So Madam Sec, I will make you host again. Give me just 2 seconds.
Thank you. And Mr. Chair, just because I noted it in the admissions while we were in executive session, Mr. Weir has arrived while we were in executive session.
He did, and he wished I tried to put him in the room, and he said that he objected to going in for the same reasons that I did. So if you'd like to note that in the minutes.
Okay, I will.
I will make you host now. I think this should work. Please let me know if it did.
Did you guys figure out political strategy? Is there a political
I
strategy
believe
now?
you should have full hosting permissions again.
I'm glad. I hope we have a political strategy.
Let me see.
It's,
Probably.
it's the reason for this.
It looks that way.
Excellent. I've gone back to being a pleb, so all is right with the world.
All right. Did everybody survive the treacherous
Too
trip from
bougie
the
to be a
underworld?
pleb.
They did. I think I didn't lose anybody.
Finn's
so I didn't
bullshit
say
there is
anything
giving me an
terrible.
aneurysm, and so
If that's the
I may be able to
question, Mr.
continue.
Chair,
I
it
may be
seems that I
suing
was
for medical
able to
damages
keep
here.
everyone here. We actually got some new people coming in during which
Holy shit.
during the time that you guys were in executive session. So look at that. I'm recruiting already.
All right.
Great strategy session, guys.
Is everybody in from the breakout session? I think so. Is the recording still going, Madam Secretary?
Yeah, when we came back in the room, it said the meeting was being recorded. That intermission section is recorded, but I clipped that out before it goes out as an official party.
Oh, you may not want to. That was good stuff.
Well, if you'd like it, I can send you that portion.
It just had his face a lot. Had his face.
That's a great fundraising idea.
All right, so we are back in session, and next up is
I did, though, have a point of parliamentary inquiry
That's
for the
right,
chair.
Angela.
point of parliamentary inquiry.
And that is, and there might be a request for information as well. When
Okay.
would be the appropriate time, if Mr. McGee still wishes me to move to reconsider the dual motion of recommitment and postponement of hearing the Ethics Committee report until the next special e-meeting that's just like our monthly meeting. Now, I don't know if Mr. McGee still wishes me to make this motion, so this might be moot, and perhaps a request for information to Mr. McGee if he
Yeah,
still
could I
wishes
speak
me
to that?
Sure,
Could I
go ahead,
speak to
Mr.
that?
McGee.
Thank you. Yeah, I would be willing to consider it in new business without previous notice.
Okay, so you do want to, you would wish to see it in this meeting?
Yes, but again,
Okay.
I don't want it to. I don't think it takes priority.
Understood.
Thank you.
So
I will make that motion at that time then. Thank you.
Roger that. Okay. All right, and I will recognize you during that section to give you an opportunity to make that motion. All right, so we're moving into LPNH and LP Colorado censure motions by Mr. Redpath. Before we get into it, you can see the block of text there. I
we
would
haven't
say
gotten to it
before
yet.
we go in, is there a second?
I would second the motions. Well, it's two motions. The motion, the
two
first
motions?
one.
Whereas, be it resolved.
Whereas.
So there's one, is there one for LP Colorado and one for LP New
Yes.
Hampshire?
Yes.
Yeah, the LP Colorado ones, there's a line here. It's a separate whereas or
Okay.
resolution, excuse me.
So we'll touch on the LPNH one since that's in order first. Are you seconding that one?
I am seconding that motion.
I have a point of
Object to consideration of the question.
I have a point of parliamentary inquiry, Mr. Chair.
Point of parliamentary inquiry, Mr.
Oh,
Malgan?
there's no way this gets through, Tim.
So is this one motion or are these two?
No.
Because I'm confused.
Two.
It's two.
Apparently it's two. It's in the
If
agenda
one were
as
to divide
motions
the
plural.
question, so to be more poignant,
Sure.
if one were to divide the question, where would the question be divided? I'm not saying I'm going to. I'm just saying I'm just trying to determine whether these are separate motions or one.
Mr. Redpath, was your intention to have these as two separate motions? This isn't just one motion?
Well, it was submitted as one motion. I believe that was my understanding when it was submitted.
That's fine.
He needs a radio
I just
show.
wanted clarity on that. So
That's
it's
such a great voice.
This is one motion then.
Bill does have an incredible voice.
I want him to read me
Object to
stories.
consideration of the question.
Okay.
Point of order.
You just want him to talk
Point of
about
order, Madam
Russian
Secretary.
propaganda.
I do. That'd be great
Censure
too.
is an incidental main motion, not an
Does he know
original
about
main
Russian
motion,
propaganda?
and incidental main motions are not subject to motions for
Point of
objection.
parliamentary inquiry.
Hold on one second.
Point of your face.
Objection to consideration of the question is only applicable to original main motions, not incidental main motions.
All right, hold on one second. I'm just trying to think.
Thank you.
Real quick.
Wait, does Redpath know Russian stories, Kyle?
I'm gonna try to figure out how to rule on that. Mr. Bost, you said you had something. You had a, what was it? Was it a point of parliamentary inquiry or was it a point of order? I thought it was Mr. Bost or somebody.
I think they would both fail as well,
Mr. Weir
Tim.
had one, I believe.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Weir.
Yeah, so it's actually like there's no bylaw provision to allow
You just call
affiliates
Mr.
to
Weird.
like recommend for the LNC to disaffiliate themselves. If you look at the bylaw, it clearly states what is allowed. And it's basically like the LNC can either disaffiliate, but the affiliate, there's no provision that an affiliate can voluntarily disaffiliate. If you read the bylaws and take them for their word.
Mr. Chair, I would
actually-
ask my point of order be dispensed with before Mr. Weir is essentially raising a point of order.
All right, give me one moment.
Adam, that's not a fair thing to ask of people who can't read.
Mr. Chair,
I'm gonna rule that.
Well, Mr. Chair, if I may, I think there might be a way to satisfy both. I can't speak to Ms. Harlos or Mr. Weir, but it seems to me that if the point of contention is the last paragraph of the after the therefore it be resolved, so that it would be if we were to strike that.
Point of order, I think this is out of order to consider debate while the previous consideration is ongoing.
I mean, he's right.
Well,
He's right.
I appreciate
This is
Mr.
not
Malagon's
debate, though.
point. I do believe that I don't think there's I don't believe that there's anything that would deny an objection to the consideration of the question. That would be a
Mr. Chair,
two-thirds.
if you would indulge me, if you would look up Robert's 26.2, subparagraph 2, can be applied to original main motions. A censure is not an original main motion. It is an incidental main motion. We do have Mr. Brown in the room. I would be more than glad to be corrected by
I'd rather hear from Mr. Jacobs, if I'm to be honest, Mr. Chair.
I'll hear from both if they'd like to give me their opinions.
I knew
And
as
they're
soon as
both-
she
if
said
the body doesn't object to either.
that Adrian
Mr.
was
Brown,
gonna
you
suggest
recognize if you'd
JJ.
like to speak on,
Oh,
on
man.
behalf of your interpretation of 26.2, subparagraph 2?
And I think that the motion to censure is not subject to objection to consideration. It is not an original main motion. So I think that objection to consideration would not be applicable. Indefinite postponement would be, which is another way of killing it. But I don't think it's subject to objection to consideration.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Mr. Jacobs?
Somewhere right
Yes,
now, Phil is
I would
pissed
say
again.
that this is, in this particular case, it is an original main motion. An example of this can be found in 1220 of RONR, which talks about
New Hampshire
actually
Libertarians
changing
represent.
an original main motion to commend to one to censure.
That's a good joke, Archie.
It would still be an original main motion. An original main motion is one that begins with some subject that the assembly has
Archie
not
with the
taken
dad
up
jokes.
before.
Yeah,
And
that's a
in this
good one.
particular case, they've never taken up this issue with.
You know, I never
either
liked the phrase
Colorado
point of
or
privilege.
Phil, I hate
Michigan, or
everything.
excuse me, Colorado or
I knew it was there.
So it would be an.
I've always hated the phrase point of personal privilege
An original main
because,
motion.
like,
You can also
why should you
find
have
the,
personal privilege?
definition here.
I'm not telling a
read
joke
it
either.
to
Like,
you.
I'm completely serious. It's always rubbed me the wrong
for
way.
An original main motion.
I know you're being serious, and that's why it's
Um,
funny because you're a
just give me
communist.
one moment.
I just
This is on.
I just don't want people to have personal privileges over other people.
Let's see. This is
Why do they have
10:16.
personal
An original main motion
privilege?
is usually made orally. Excuse me. An incidental main motion is usually made orally.
That is against the
was not.
proletariat.
The
That
chief
is
difference-
bourgeois
the
nonsense.
chief difference is.
The
This
hell
is
kind of
10:05.
accent was
An
that?
incidental main motion
Personal
involves a subject
privilege.
already entered into that might be a motion to
Going
adopt
to go play with
recommendations the
bourgeois
committee
now.
has prepared upon
Nikolai.
instructions, or a motion to ratify something when there was no quorum present.
Nikolai.
This does not meet this definition of an incidental main motion. it does meet the definition of an original main motion, as it has never been a subject dealt with before. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was great.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Madam Secretary.
this is only with your indulgence. I do understand Mr. Jacobs' point, but I would also point to 1054 through 57, where it does analogize a motion to ratify, also called approve or confirm. And it says it is an incidental main motion. If you go to 1057, a few sections later, since the motion to ratify or to censure is a main motion and it already categorized it as an incidental main motion, it is debatable and opens the entire question to debate. So I do believe Mr. Brown is correct on this, though I respect Mr. Jacobs' argument.
Okay. I'm just doing a little reading.
So I was too. What were you reading? What? I was reading some Berkman. What about you? That's
Point of inquiry.
Can you?
Yes, point of inquiry.
Can we let the chair? Can we let the chair make a decision on this first thing?
It's specifically about that. In Ms. Harlow's statement, she mentioned that 1057 previously referred to a censure as incidental main motion. Can you refer to the citation where that is referred?
I said 1054, and then you have to read that whole section. But I, right now, don't think back and forth with you and I is appropriate. The chair, it's in the hands of the chair at this moment.
Phil routinely gets it. Should I read more excerpts, or are we good?
I am responding to someone honestly here.
That's new. What brought that on?
LNC member asked a question.
Okay, so here's my reading on this. So
Mr. Chair, Mr. Brown, I was going to say, if the motion of censure was to censure, an officer of the society or something of that effect, I think without any doubt it would be an incidental. But this is a motion of censure against a subsidiary body, against an affiliate. And in that case, honestly, I think Mr. Jacobs might be right that it could well be considered an original main motion, because it's not a motion of censure against a member of this body.
well, that's what I'm having the hard time with, because if it was against a member, the conduct of a member or an officer, it's more explicit in Ronner as to it being in incidental main motion, but because it's against a subsidiary, there's a big gray area there, and so it's just not super clear. So if that's my read on it, if that's two parliamentaries' read on it, then at this time, I believe an objection to the consideration of the question would be in order. If there was action taken prior, let's say a committee took action, made a recommendation, something of that fact, I'd be more inclined to consider it otherwise. But this is a bit of a sticky gray area, but I think we can see where this goes, and quite frankly, it's probably going to go one way or the other, and it's going to take a 2/3 vote regardless. So I'm going to call the Mr. Chatterton's objection to the consideration of the question in order, and we will move on to a roll call vote. I don't believe it's objection. I don't believe. Oh, I'm sorry. Was there a second on that? Actually, I probably should have asked that 20 minutes ago.
It says not required.
Doesn't require. Okay.
Yeah. So I have a point of parliamentary inquiry, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Mr. Malagon.
So is this vote on the an affirmative vote would be to also object to the consideration of the question, and a negative vote would be to hear the motion or to entertain the motion at the very least, or is this on a ruling of the chair?
I did not appeal the ruling of the chair.
No, that's why, but I didn't know if anyone else had. I don't know if there was a lot going on, so I just. So what we're voting. So let me rephrase the question. My point of parliamentary inquiry is, what are we voting on right now?
So Mr. Chatterton made an objection to the calling of the question. So an aye or an affirmative would be to confirm the objection, which means we would not consider the motion. A no vote would turn down objection to the consideration of the question, which means we would move on to discussion on the main motion.
And what is the threshold for this vote?
Mr. Brown is trying to.
Mr. Brown, recognized.
The question should actually be, shall the motion be considered? The question shall be put, and it would require a 2/3 vote in the negative to not consider the motion. So the question is, shall the motion that's before the assembly be considered? It would take a 2/3 no vote to not consider it.
Okay, so the opposite of what I said earlier. So if you don't want to consider the motion, vote no. If you do want to consider the motion, vote yes. Is that correct, Mr. Brown?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Madam Secretary, whenever you're ready.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Mr. Ford?
I had my hand up. I'd like to cede the Region 6 seat to Mr. Weir. Also, point of inquiry.
That's exactly
folks,
backwards.
Are finding this on YouTube. Do they need a Zoom link, or where can they watch this?
They just come right here. Come to LP Alliance. We got you
Madam
covered,
Secretary,
baby.
do you know the answer to that?
Yes,
Come
I
to
do.
LP
The
Alliance.
API link between Zoom and YouTube has been broken for several months. We are not live streaming on YouTube. This is an issue I need to get with staff on. It's not the largest priority, but I do upload the videos when they are completed. People need to come to the Zoom meeting if they want to see it live.
They can come to
after
LP
the vote,
Alliance.
maybe
You know
you
it.
Just tell me how they can see that on the Zoom. I'm getting a little bit bombarded. Anyway, again, the main point here is I've ceded the chair to Mr. Weir.
That's a fucking conflict of interest. He can't vote on if he is
Mr. Weir's
censured.
on deck.
So sorry, Mr. Chair.
No one can silence the revolution.
Parliamentary inquiry. I know that this is
We
going
are
to come up, and
screaming
I don't
it.
want any mistakes. Could you just reaffirm
That's
again
right, Joe.
what no vote means versus what
When
a
there's
yes
a
vote
market
means?
need,
I
we
know, but I'm
respond.
doing it for the benefit of others because I know that this will come up again mid-vote, and I don't want to have any sort of.
And we do this for the benefit of others.
So if you could just reaffirm again what a no vote means versus what an aye vote means.
So a yes vote means
Give an actual
you wish to consider
I wasn't
the
actually
motion,
let's
which
you
means
go
you wish
like
to
that
discuss
by
it
your
and then vote on
side
it.
and then
A
bring
no
it
vote
up.
means
I
you do not
purposely
wish
brought my
to
wrist
consider
to
the
my
motion,
forehead.
and it would kill the motion, and then we'd move on to the next agenda item. So a no vote for those who don't want to consider the motion, a yes vote for those who do wish to consider this motion.
Thank you.
Yep.
I'm interested in conflict.
LPA redistributes the wealth to everyone.
Okay.
The wealth is live streaming.
Mr. Boss?
We redistribute
No.
One moment.
I too like
I don't have my
ports.
caps on. Mr. Chatterton?
No.
Mr. Dar?
Yes.
Mr. Hold on, it doesn't count when I does that. Mr. Dassing?
No with a hard N.
Mr. Ford? Mr. Weir?
Hell no.
I will vote yes. Ms. Hayes?
That is a conflict of interest all day.
Pass, please.
Mr. Lamb?
No.
Mr. Maligan?
In the spirit of time, I'm going to go with no.
Mr. McGee?
Abstain.
Mr. Nana?
I have a question. Do abstentions count? So for the 2/3, abstentions count towards the total members
No.
present for the?
No.
No, they do not.
It does not. You're not
I'll
present and
pass.
voting. Mr. Redpath?
Yes.
Mr. Thompson?
Yes.
Mr. Benson?
No.
Mr. Watkins,
No.
Ms. Yanuskavich,
Toss up.
No.
going back to Ms. Hayes,
No.
going back to Mr. Nana,
Yes, it's not going to matter, but yes.
Okay, Mr. Chair, without your vote, it is 4-10-1.
All right, motion shall not be considered. So we will move on next to remainder of 3 policy manual amendments by Mr. Malagon. 10 minutes. We'll go with motion number 1 regarding open meetings. Mr. Malagon,
So
would you like to present
confident
your
this
motion
motion
for a
will
second?
fail. Don't consider it. Don't consider
Yes,
it.
I will wait for the secretary to finish her live notes. I don't have them readily.
Yeah, I'll put it right up here. I could do that later.
It's
I've done nothing wrong. It's so
common
obvious.
sense
Don't talk
motion
about it.
number 1, full circle. For section 1.02 meetings, this would be a change to subsection 2 open meetings. So the new text would read, LNC meetings are open to party members except while in executive session.
What happened with LPCO?
Non-party members
They've
may be
decided they want to
excluded
compete with
from any
LPNH
part
to
of the
be
meeting
the
at any time at the
most
discretion of the
disgusting.
chair. Any
No, I think
party
he means what
member
happens
or
with the
LNC
motion.
member being disruptive
I know what he
during any
means.
portion of the meeting may be immediately excluded upon a majority vote of the LNC. Now, if the secretary would be so
I
kind.
agree,
Oh, wait,
Tim.
you didn't put the reasons in
Just
here, right?
remember all the names. No,
shit.
just
It's
remember all the
fine.
names.
I can speak to it just off the cuff. It doesn't really
Oh,
matter.
but before you do, is there a second?
Yes, sorry.
It wasn't a vote on
I'll second.
censure, Joe.
Second, Mr.
I
Malagon,
I
go
don't
ahead.
think that
Thank you so much,
a
Mr.
censure
Chair.
yes
So,
would necessarily been worth anything.
This
I
seems pretty
just
common
think
sense
that
to me. We've had
voting
disruptive
to
LNC
not
members, we've
consider
had
the motion
disruptive,
is even more cowardice.
non-party members, as I've come to find out after the fact. So when I say
Because
non-party
like there's
members,
dialogue and debate there.
by definition,
basically.
people who
Right.
have not even
They have shut
become a
down the
basic
ability
member.
for
So there are
people
that
to
sometimes
speak
show up
to and
these
against
meetings that
censure.
seem
And I
particularly
think that
invested,
whenever that's
but
done,
are literally not.
that's
So they haven't even
scummy.
paid their $25 basic
But like
membership.
we
for
knew
the
that was
year.
going to happen.
The fact that we can't, as it stands now, for some reason, exclude people who are not.
But again,
members of
Joe,
the, party,
the virtue is of
a
the
bit
debate and the
ridiculous to
discussion.
me.
Like that is a
We should
valuable
have the
thing.
discretion
It's
to
not
remove
should we
people,
censure them.
at will,
It's
especially if they're not on the LNC.
let's discuss
at the
what
discretion of the
has
chair.
or
So if they've been
hasn't been
particularly
done that is
disruptive,
incorrect.
and we know
That
they're
is
not a member, they
valuable
should
in
just be
terms of
able
a
to be
party's progress
removed
and
by the
evolution.
secretary or the chair from the Zoom meeting or an in-person meeting.
Again,
If they
Joe, it's
are
not
an
about the vote,
LNC
it's about the
member or a party
discussion.
member, of course, they have particular rights ascribed to them.
It's not
So at
political
that
theater,
point,
though,
you
'cause it's
go
for
immediately
us.
to a majority vote of the LNC.
The,
So if
the political
if the
theater
LNC
would
believes
be
that
the
that
actual
member
like
or that
votes
LNC member,
themselves.
I'm sorry,
Right.
the
But the
party
discussion
member or
actually
the
is
LNC
valuable. There are
member is
valuable
being
points to be
particularly
made for
disruptive
both
and
cases.
unmuting and shouting profanities and interrupting or doing
Tim is
whatever.
spot on here.
This would allow the LNC to immediately go to a vote as
Well,
to
and
whether or not
in
that
that
person would
system,
be
we know
excluded.
where they would have how they
This
would
would
have
only
voted.
have an effect really on at-larges or officers, but one
but
would hope
like
that they
Jacob's
would
making the
have
same point Joe
ability
is here
to
and Justin
restrain
is.
themselves. For regionals, presumably their alternates would
but
be present.
we all
so
knew
if it's-
beforehand where
if it's
the
on
vote
an
was going to
alternate
go.
committee in the
Yeah.
offense,
This is where
then
the
it wouldn't really
LNC is
matter. If
supposed
it is
to
the primary, then the
be
alternate would
talking with
step
the
in,
members.
and
There's
that
a lot of
regional
people
would be
who aren't
represented.
online.
I think this is common
And
sense.
so they
but
just
there are
chose
3
not to
hands
talk
up,
with the
so I
members
suspect it is not
because
common
of the
sense,
fact
but I
that
yield.
they were afraid of it.
This is shutting out members, shutting out members. Basically, this is
Right.
disenfranchising
First on
members.
deck
This is not
Ms.
allowing them a
Harlow, followed by
voice.
Mr. Lamb,
It's not
and
about
then
the
Mr.
vote.
Martin.
I do believe Mr. Lamb had his hand up before me.
Mr. Lamb, if you'd like to go first.
Yes, thank you very much. And I
There
do
isn't
agree.
public
I think
comment
this is
anymore,
very
Jacob. They turned
needed
public comment off
addition.
entirely.
I mean, we've already had issues this evening with people that are not on
And
there
Archie is
and
correct.
muting themselves and adding their own commentary. So
Yes,
I mean, I'm
Archie is
surprised
correct.
that it's not already the practice to have everyone muted and not to allow just members of the public to interrupt our meetings in these ways.
Joe,
I
you
would
mean it's
offer a
not about
friendly
the vote?
amendment. So I
Okay,
do move
it's
to
about the
amend to
debate.
append,
It's
the
not
end
about
of
the
this
vote. I agree
current
with
new
you.
language to
It's
add
about the
according to the
debate.
provisions of the parliamentary authority. But otherwise, yeah, I
If
think
if
I'm
the
definitely in
public could
favor of
speak
this.
with them, if they could have given
Or is
their
it a motion?
opinions here,
Yes, sir. I
etc.,
motion
we
to
wouldn't be
amend
mad
just
about
to
the vote
end-
going
to
out.
add at the
The
very
entire
end,
thing is they've
according to the
destroyed the
provisions
debate.
of the
They've
parliamentary
destroyed the
authority.
voice of the people.
I'll second that.
But we haven't
Second.
really been debating
Second.
publicly because they haven't been talking to
I'll ask, is there
people.
any objection objection
We haven't
to
actually
the
heard
amendment?
their things unless you're already
I'm
really
looking
tuned
at
into
it. I
this.
might. Hold
Like
on.
we've got, we had over 80 people who were watching this, and they want to
I'll
hear
save my
from the
comments for
LNC.
debate, no
That's why they're
objection.
here. Everyone's
Well,
here
no,
to
I wish to
listen to
debate
what they're
it.
going to say and do
So-
things
All
with
right.
it.
Well,
Hold
And
on
so
right,
before
point
put
of
yourself on the
order,
record,
Chair. Are
too.
we now, so because we're on the
Yeah.
amendment,
And
the
it
debate has now
shows where
shifted.
you stand
Discussion
on
is now
things. It
on
helps
the
members get a
amendment to main
sense
motion.
Correct.
of whether you're a
Correct. Yep.
coward or whether you have
So we are
principles.
on the amendment. I guess there's a couple hands raised. If you can put your hands down, unless you'd like to debate on
Well,
the
if
amendment.
Mr.
Amendment.
Joe,
Sorry,
I'm not feeling
a point of
cute.
parliamentary
Say
inquiry.
that.
If Mr. Lamb wishes to speak to his amendment, I would not be
Did
opposed.
that make me cuter? Did that?
Mr. Lamb, would you like to speak on behalf of your amendment?
Yeah, I would just add again, I'm certainly in favor of the amendment as well as this motion as a whole. I think this amendment just makes it cleaner
Instead
as
of
we
doing
already
the
have a
cute face
parliamentary
now, Amanda's
authority
holding
that we
herself.
refer to. So I think it is just important to have this in there as well.
She's about to join the emo caucus.
Okay. Ms. Harless, you had your hand raised?
Mean and dangerous.
I'm back to my.
Yeah, I think this, it's not that I object in principle. I object due to it adds confusion. So Mr. Lamb struck on a very important point with this, that an LNC member is entitled to certain due processes pursuant to the parliamentary authority. So great. If this was just talking
Jacob,
about an
agree with you.
LNC member.
100%.
But pending this, what right does a party member have according to the provisions of
That's
the
all that he does, though, is
parliamentary
just respond on
authority?
social media and then
That's
creep
where I'm
away.
getting a bit
Right,
confused
like-
and why I said I wanted to think
Paul
about it.
does have a monthly Q&A, but that's also Paul's perspective.
I think in the
Yeah.
future,
I wanted to hear from all 17 people
I think
on that
a
board.
party member can
And in a way, we did.
be excluded just upon a
That's
majority
true.
vote on that. So, because this isn't, they're not a member of the LNC. So I
Malagon's
don't
actually
think
offered to come
a
on to
party
LPA and do
member
a Q&A
is
or an interview as well.
entitled to anything
Which has been internally a question of like,
that
is this a thing that's wanted? So like, if you guys
I'm,
want us
I'm
to
just
speak
a
with
bit
Adrian, let us know in
confused
comments.
as
and
to
things.
how that would apply to a party member. It might easily, this could just be me having a brain burp. So that's all I was going to say. Thank you.
But you
Mr.
don't
Chairman,
have to watch them,
I
Joe.
think she brought something up.
Joe,
and
it's
I just,
it's
like,
not
want-
about
I
you.
want
It's not about
clarification
your
to kind of
party.
for
This
the
is
ease
this
of
is
this,
about.
if I could just
Sure.
Damn it,
Go ahead.
Kyle. You can say.
So I think you.
Yes, that would actually be
I'll
great.
start
That would be great.
simply for my purposes. You understand the purpose of this motion, I suspect. Yes.
Is this a question to me, Mr. Malaga?
Yes, Miss, the chair allowed me to address you.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Sorry, Ben.
I think in broad terms, I do. When we're back to the main motion, I will let you know one part I object to, but it's curable. But I believe I
Joe,
understand.
don't make me go off.
So the purpose of this, just to, and I don't know what the remedy
not make
for
me
this
do
is
it.
outside of, whatever, but it's, I'm not,
He's
so just to
being-
be clear, I'm not suggesting
She's
that
about to bring the
the
hammer and sickle
party
down on
member
you,
has
Joe.
the same rights as the LNC member, but it's to prevent
say
any,
that.
if someone is habitually interrupting, once may be a misnomer, it's fine, whatever. But multiple interruptions under different accounts or even
That
the
was
same
funny,
account
too.
or whatever.
Justin.
At some point, in order for the
Justin's
sake of the
on.
ease of business to continue, the chair should be allowed to, exclude that member. We can put them
I
in the waiting
definitely
room. for
understand where you're
instance,
coming from on this one,
and
Tyler.
then
But like,
move to a vote as to
I
whether we
think
want to exclude
Adrian's
that member
been
permanently for that
one of the
meeting or
most
that
straightforward
session,
people in
and
the
then
past
move on
couple
to
months
that.
at least.
So I don't know if that changes anything for you. I
Probably
want to make
since
sure
the
that we
night
were
where
on the
he
same
was
page and
the
understanding
Chair Pro Tem.
the reasons and the purpose for this.
I don't know.
Like the
He's
language
been
as it was. I'm not
straightforward about his
opposed-
opinions.
As you saw, I wasn't opposed to Mr.
And
Lamb's
they-
additional language. That's fine.
They
But,
opportunistically overlap with ours.
Yeah,
That's no
I
reason
just
to
wanted see
reward
if-
them.
where you were at on that, or if
Sure.
that was understood.
I
if
don't
I had
disagree
made
with that.
myself clear,
It's just
in the way that I presented this motion.
I don't want to hear Pat
And
Ford
thank you,
talk about
Mr.
anything right
Malaga.
now because
I
he's not going to tell me the
withdraw
truth.
my
Except for that
objection.
one
I think
time.
I'm getting way into theory land a bit too much. So
Oh, I like theory land.
I don't know if there's other objections, but I withdraw my objection.
means
to
Roner
Mr. Lamb's
theory.
amendment.
Oh.
All right, Mr. Boss, you had your hand up. You took it down. I don't believe you want to be recognized any longer. Mr. Chatterton?
If I caught something based on Ms. Harlow's commentary, and
No,
I'm
you
not sure if this is a contradiction, but I think it is relevant
you
to
did.
the
I-
amendment, given the pending to the last sentence. So please stop me if it should be under the main motion discussion. But with regard to adding that statement about the according to parliamentary authority, is the inclusion of any party member or LNC member, so the inclusion of any party member there, intending to be like an extra mechanism for removal in addition to the option to be removed by the discretion of the chair. My reason for asking is that, if I'm not mistaken, I think that parliamentary procedure allows for the removal of a non-member of the meeting, non-member of the board, to be removed at the discretion of the chair. So I think that part might be in line with it, but I don't think there's any provision where it requires a board vote to remove a non-member from a meeting, referring to a non-LNC member. And so if we have the intent to have any party member ... may be removed by majority vote, that's an extra consideration, which would be beyond. So I think that would be maybe where the consideration of Ms. Harlow's concern might be relevant.
Mr. Dar?
I move to extend time by another 10 minutes. Time just expired.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
No objection?
Third.
So
Time's extended.
It's not how it works.
Mr. Nader?
Let me address Mr. Chatterton directly. I think I know what he's getting at, but I'm not quite sure.
Go ahead.
So, just to be clear, I mean, obviously virtual sessions and meetings are, whatever. So removing someone so if someone is being habitually disrupted during a meeting and the LNC's decided that they've had enough, the chair or the secretary should be able to put them in the waiting room. They have not been removed from the meeting, right? And I guess this could apply in person, like they're asked to just step outside for a moment.
I would like to hop in, physically remove them myself.
And then at the point that they're officially kicked from the meeting, then
I would like
they
to kick
can't
them
come back in. Right. So that's kind of what I'm.
Is that a paid
getting
position?
Parliamentarily, I do believe that you're correct, that non-party members don't have these rights, but this has been somewhat of a point in contention in different state affiliates, mine included. And so just to have this solidified, I think just makes it a little bit more clear. If you're not a party member, i.e. not a dues paying member, then you don't have any rights. Your rights don't exist. You're a member of the public, and if you wish to,
you're not a member of the party. You do not have rights.
Live stream situation is situated and up and running, or
You have
whatever,
no right.
then we can
for any reason
deal with that then, and that's fine. They can log into the LP YouTube account and check it out. But as far as for the purposes of this meeting,
differential
theoretically,
rights.
non-party members don't
All
even
right,
have.
so I am
well, theoretically, they do
linking
have chances for public
to
comment,
all
as does anybody,
destinations
because it's public.
the
Public
agenda
comment
for tonight,
for anyone
because
who wishes to
people have
address
already asked
the
when things are
LNC
happening and all.
as a whole. But this is just to kind of solidify this. I don't know if that answers your question or if I just made it more confusing, but that was the intent, if that makes sense in any capacity.
Just after the LPNH and LPCO censure motions.
Ms. Harlow's.
Yeah, I think debate has gone afield of the amendment, but it is kind of related.
Well, it is. So just to be, because of the parliament, because he mentioned the parliamentary authority, and I think that he's correct. I just don't know. It's not bad to solidify it, which is why Mr. Lamb adding
Which
that language
shows
has
basically an hour and a
doesn't
half
bother me at all.
potential meeting left.
Mr. Chair,
But also they're
may
supposed
I
to
go
adjourn
a
in
bit
13 minutes.
afield of the amendment in order to address a point of that?
If it's germane to the amendment, if not, I would ask if we could wait until the main motion.
It's germane to all the discussion that's gone on already.
Turtleneck, they did not vote on it.
I think there's a little bit of
they chose to vote to not even discuss it.
Musings
yeses,
here on this motion,
the
but
rest
if we
were
can keep it
noes.
germane, then we can just move on to the main motion and go from there. If it's germane, go for it. If it's not, I would ask if we could.
Let
if
me
we could just
check
wait.
that.
Hopefully
I have a
briefly.
request for information.
Okay.
In the interest of time, he says that he doesn't want,
directing this
like
to the
that's why
chair,
this
if he
meeting
would
exists.
permit
The meeting
Mr.
doesn't exist
Lamb to answer that
for
appending
random things to happen
is
within a certain
appending
time
to
frame.
the second sentence.
There's
Is he
certain
intending that according to
very
the provisions of the
pertinent
parliamentary
matters.
authority only apply to party members
You know it's
or
not.
LNC
We know it's
members?
not. I'm the
and
only real libertarian,
since
and I'm
it's
not in the
only
meeting.
appended to that
It's
sentence
not.
and not the prior
It's
one.
not. Kyle, you have no rights.
Mr. Lamb, if you'd like to
You're Trotsky.
speak on that.
Could I ask Ms. Carlos to please clarify
Point
her
of
statement
that was
a little more
uncalled
simply?
for.
Sure. You're
Direct
appending,
shots.
according to the provisions of the
Completely uncalled
parliamentary
for.
authority, to the sentence
I was just
that's
reading
talking about
Berkman.
any party member or LNC
Yeah.
member. To me, grammatically,
Know your enemy.
your amendment then would only apply to that sentence.
You've
It
read
wouldn't
Art of War.
have anything to do with non-party members.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, that was my intention.
Thank you.
Mr. Martin, then Mr. McGee. Mr. Martin?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to speak in support of the amendment. Without the amendment, this is a little bit terrifying because it looks like it would sidestep due process. With the amendment, it seems like due process would be preserved and that we wouldn't violate any rights. So it makes a lot of sense. It would go from me being a hard no to me being a absolutely let's get it done.
Alinsky, the problem here is that you don't
Mr. McGee?
have a First Amendment,
Amendment,
right
good. I call the question.
when you sign it away.
Well, I don't
And
see any
so
other hands
LPNH
raised, so
is
if there's
part of national.
no objection, we can go ahead and move to a
So
vote.
whatever national says they can say is part of that contract, and they're free to disaffiliate. But as long as they're part of that contract, they must
any
follow
objection
those
to the
things.
amendment?
So a movement for
All right,
censorship
hearing
is
none,
mostly
amendment
just,
passes
cowardly because
without objection.
when you break
And we
the
are now
rules, you
back
should be
onto the main
disaffiliated.
motion. Is there any debate on the main motion?
Yes, and hold on because I'm doing the notes. I
I
can't
don't
raise
see
my hand.
anything
if you
from
want to call
Bennett
on me.
here.
Okay. And we, as long as everyone understands, let me just stick this up here so that people understand that this is, I know it's going to look ugly for a minute, but it's part of it. All right, with the non-party members, I do have an issue with it being at the discretion of the chair. The way I understand it is we've allowed non-party members kind of in a very permissive way. However, if any LNC member objected to a non-party member being present, then it would go to a vote of the LNC whether or not to allow them. So I think we already have a procedure for that.
I agree.
And that we don't really
Because it was during the executive session, Tyler?
to change that.
Oh,
So
you mean during the gotcha.
What's in here is what is
chair's discretion,
general
effectively. That's why they
parliamentary
asked both
procedure.
Brown and
non-party members may be
JJ.
excluded upon a majority vote of the LNC. What would trigger that vote is someone objecting to the presence of a non-party member. And we've done this before in the past. I think the vote failed and the non-party member was allowed,
Was
but
it
there
Donald
has
Trump?
been objection to non-party members. And also, just to clarify, at least my understanding, though the chair's understanding would be superior, the public and public comment, I think it would be more accurately called party comment. I don't think that was ever intended to be like, you know, the Denver Post coming and making a comment at our meetings. I think it was always understood to be party members unless non-party members were permissively allowed. So I have no problem with the second part, the second sentence that Mr. Maligan added as amended, but I do object to changing the first part. I think upon a majority vote of the LNC is protection enough.
I agree.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Harlos. I don't see any other hands going once, going twice.
Sorry, I can't raise my hand. So can we, just to curb Ms. Harlos's, well, not objections, I guess, concerns. I will amend the amendment to.
Oh, we already dispensed with the amendment. We're back on the main motion.
Okay, well, is it in order
Yes.
to amend the main motion?
Yep.
So I would like to amend the main motion to just say, I'm sorry, if the secretary could scroll up just a bit. So it would be from any part of the meeting at the time of the discretion of the chair, subject to appeal. So comma, subject to appeal. Period.
Why not just do the majority vote?
I'm gonna
You're
put it
adding
in
an
all
extra
caps
step.
just so that we know what's the new
So
stuff.
that if the issue is that, you know, the discretion of the chair is too broad, if someone on the LNC doesn't think that someone interrupting, you know, 4 or 5 times is too much, if someone just appeals whatever they consider to be the discretion of the chair, if it's too arbitrary, then there we are.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All right, we are now on
Stand your
discussion.
grounds.
Mr. Maligan, if you wanted to speak to it, or if you wanted to.
I think it speaks for itself. I just did. I'm sorry. I think it speaks for itself.
Okay, Mr. Ford, you had your hand up, then Mr. Dar.
Yeah, I wanted to make a motion as well, but if we're currently in discussion of Adrian's motion, I'll defer until after Adrian's motion.
All right, Mr. Dar.
I was much too optimistic in my previous motion to extend. I now move to extend by another 20 minutes.
I'll second.
Any objection to extending for 20?
So,
Hearing none, we are
Tim,
extending
this
for
is the
20 minutes.
amendment to the main motion after
Ms.
the
Harlow,
amendment
you
to
have
the
your hand
amendment
raised still?
failed and the
Yes.
amendment failed. So
I'd
we're
like
back
to
to the
speak in
main
favor.
motion with an amendment
Sure.
again. A
And
different amendment this time.
actually strongly in favor. I like this because there's a tendency upon there's a tendency with boards, even if someone's being disruptive, to not want to look like the bad guy. Sorry, Mr. Chair. It's kind of the chair's job to look like the bad guy. And boards tend to not want to vote by a majority to exclude someone. So they can passively do the right thing. Sorry, Mr. Chair, again,
No
and let the
worries.
chair take the heat. So I actually am strongly in favor of this. I think this will be a more efficient way to deal with non-party members who really shouldn't be at our meeting. So I thank Mr. Maligan for his amendment.
They should be open to the greatest extent possible.
Mr. Ford, you still have your hand raised. Was that an artifact?
I'd still like to make an amendment, but I don't know if parliamentary, this is the right time.
Okay, I'll call on you once we get back to the main motion then.
Thank you.
So we do have an amendment on the table. I'll ask the body, is there any objection to the amendment? All right, hearing no objection, the amendment
Yeah, I think
passes.
it's too,
Mr. Ford, you have the floor,
authoritarian.
sir.
That is in my
Yeah, I'd
bylaws
like to make a
change notes.
motion to amend to raise the threshold for removing an LNC member from 50% to 2/3. My reasoning is simple. I think that the behavior has to be extraordinary to remove an LNC member. At the same time, okay, thank you. You get the point.
I'm going to have a question as secretary for Mr. Ford. in a
Yeah, I was
minute.
going to ask Mr. Ford. I hear you. I'm not sure where you'd like to. Where would you like to put that language in there? Would you like to scroll up here?
If I'm at the main motion, where it talks about a 50% vote of the LNC to remove an LNC member, I'd like to raise that from 50% to 2/3. The point being is that it's clear that the behavior will have to be egregious and not just political, and that the entire LNC then should recognize it. But of course, I think the main idea of the point is a very good one. We need to have some control.
I have a point of parliamentary inquiry. There's no 50%. 50% wouldn't do it anyway. That would be a failing motion. So I'm still confused as to where Mr. Ford is trying to place this.
All right, let me go back.
A majority.
I believe so. So that sentence, that clause is for both party members and LNC members. So is your intention to keep party member at 50%, LNC member at 2/3, Mr. Ford?
Yes.
Okay, so it would read something like.
His amendment. If you could give the verbiage, I think that would be helpful.
Did you want to give the verbiage, Mr. Ford, or?
Oh, I'll let
you
them
want to
ask
workshop?
but I think the intent is clear. Very simply, I would like to, let's break it into two, if you will, conditions.
Tyler, give me one
The first one
second.
being
I do have
that an
the
LNC
OneNote.
member could be removed. I'm sorry, non-LNC member, a party member could be removed for poor behavior at 50%. An
So I
LNC
think-
member would have to be 2/3.
I think the verbiage you're looking for would be a majority vote or a 2/3 vote,
This is not the
respectively,
same as
of the LNC or of the LNC, respectively. I think
Correct.
that
Live
would
notes
be
that she's
grammatically
doing,
correct. So
but
any
this
party
is where it will
member
show
or
up.
LNC member being disruptive during any portion of the meeting may be immediately excluded upon a majority vote or a 2/3 vote of the LNC respectively. I think, would that be?
I
Well,
think
Or would that,
I was gonna
I think
offer
that might be
some.
grammatically correct, but if
I was
somebody has
gonna
a
offer
better.
some language that might flow better. It would
No.
split this into 2 sections.
Yeah,
Well,
Joe, I'm with you
people are
100%.
jumping ahead of people, and the secretary is still trying to get things on the
Well, I'll
I'm
ask
glad
you-
you're coming around to
I
my
was
way of
just gonna
thinking,
put my hand
Joe.
raised if I could.
I'm
Yeah,
glad
the
we're in agreement on
secretary
this.
is still trying to get
Hold on.
things.
I have a thing
onto
for
the
this.
screen.
I think we're all trying to figure out the
right way to
verbiage
do it.
here. I understand Mr. Ford's point. I think
Let's go back to our diagramming sentences in 6th grade.
oh, I used to love doing that.
Point of privilege, perhaps Zoom lowered my hand, but when we go back to recognizing, I think I was the first
Sure.
after Mr. Ford.
I will recognize you, followed by Mr. McKee.
Except for the fact that my head's gigantic.
You do have a gigantic head.
I mean, Madam Secretary, do you
I've
have
gotten,
verbiage in
Kyle
mind?
got
or
me
should
hot.
I
Stupid hat for Amanda.
ask around.
Okay,
So she can be
here's
as Soviet as she
here's the
is
problem,
in her
Mr.
heart.
Chair. I don't
have a heart.
because it's a nonsensical sentence, and I'm sorry if this seems like it's getting into debate.
We'll
but
work on
might
it,
help
Joe.
with the
We'll
wording.
work on it.
You
We've got a lot
can't
of time.
change the threshold to 2/3 and also say according to the provisions of the parliamentary authority, because the parliamentary authority requires a majority. So there's a logical contradiction contained in here.
I see.
I think my proposal would remedy that.
I'll defer to Mr. Chatterton if that helps.
Mr. Chatterton?
So my idea would be to restructure the sentence slightly and say any party member or LNC member being disruptive during any portion of the meeting may be immediately excluded according to the provisions of the parliamentary authority. Then with the exception requiring 2/3 vote if an LNC member.
That doesn't, I'm sorry, that still doesn't.
So the parliamentary authority portion, I think that's valuable is the requirements to warn and escalate a situation absent a major disruption or everything. So it gives those procedural aspects of it. And I think that it would be in order to say the only exception to that parliamentary procedure is that is if it's an LNC member, it requires a higher threshold, but everything else applies is kind of the intent. So striking
okay,
upon a
we're gonna
majority vote of the LNC and then adding at the end, except for a higher threshold for LNC members.
I would need this in writing. I need this in writing emailed to me, please.
Yeah, this is all sort of
I
flirting on
think-
the edge of being out of order because without the verbiage, I mean, unless you have specific verbiage, it's not, it's a wish, but it's not an exact motion.
Honestly,
but I would like
Mr.
to find a
Chair,
motion.
there's something in another parliamentary authority called untying the Gordian knot,
Mhm.
which you just pretend like everything that just happened didn't happen, and you start back. And I know that's not our parliamentary authority, but I kind of hope that LNC would agree to that we just pretend like everything that just happened didn't happen, and let's have a discussion and debate on the main motion to talk
Right.
about how this can be done.
I think I was hoping we'd get to satisfactory language a little bit faster, but I think that we're going to have to go back to the main motion. Mr. Ford, I hear you. We do need specific language from somebody, Mr. Chatter, Mr. Ford. So let's go back to debating the main motion, and I think any kind of discussion as to what the language would be can be a part of that debate. And Mr. Dar, if you don't mind, and I hate to do this to you now, but if you don't mind taking over for a few minutes, I might have to figure out my ride back to South Beach. So if you wouldn't mind taking the gavel just for a little bit. And we are on the main motion.
Kyle, do you mind taking over for
on
a few minutes?
discussion.
I have to figure out my ride to the bathroom.
Okay, back to the main motion.
Okay. Okay, now
Mr.
she's
McGee.
back. But she is muted.
I see your hand
Thank
raised.
you. I think the appropriate way to do this would just be to divide any party member or the LNC member into separate sentences with the appropriate verbiage. There's no need to combine this. This is very simple. Just have any party member being disruptive during any portion of the meeting may be immediately excluded upon a majority vote of the LNC, according to provisions of the parliamentary authority. and then have an additional sentence that says any LNC member being disruptive during any portion of the meeting may be immediately excluded upon a 2/3 vote of the LNC according to the provisions of the parliamentary authority. And if there's no objection, I'll move that amendment.
Okay, I'll wait till my turn in debate.
I can say it again if you'd like me
No,
to.
no. I know what you're saying, but there's a problem with it.
I think I heard you, Mr. McGee, though, on the second one that you didn't add according to provisions of Parliament.
No, yes. I did.
Oh.
No, that was the no. I added it.
Point of parliamentary inquiry. Point of parliamentary inquiry. Excuse me. Isn't the whole point of that is that the parliamentary inquiry, or sorry, the parliamentary procedure said there has to be a majority. So it wouldn't be according to the parliamentary procedure if we're adding. So, sorry, I always call you McGee, Jonathan, or sorry, Mr. McGee. If you have to amend that sentence.
Okay, I will omit according to the provisions of the parliamentary authority then.
That is what I was trying to clarify with you, Mr. McGee.
Understood. So that is my amendment. That was the original amendment that I moved.
Unlike Amanda, I am large enough to eat Amanda.
That reads as correctly as you intended.
She has been vomited.
Okay, making sure.
This would be a motion by substitution, because it's making more changes than but it's still a motion to amend, but it's a motion to amend by substitution.
Motion to amend by substitution. So the next person that'll be recognized would be Ms. Harlos.
Okay. Sorry, I'll get that in there in a moment.
Joy, come back to life. Come on.
I actually would move to amend the substitute and take out according to the provisions of the parliamentary authority, even from the first one, because there are no clear provisions of the parliamentary authority for party members because they're not members of the LNC.
I'm sorry, I believe that's what I moved.
I could have heard that.
If everybody heard that's how we'll correct it there. Understanding. All right. Did you have anything further, Ms. Harlos?
No, I'm just typing, so I'll put my hand down in a moment.
Okay. Mr. Chatterton.
So I think the point of in disagreement is that, or point of contention here might be that the parliamentary procedure has additional requirements on this process in addition to the vote threshold. I think that if we are to remove somebody from the meeting, that those provisions are important to maintain for going about removing somebody from the meeting, particularly LNC members. So my hope would be to preserve those elements of the procedure,
We all know
even if we
why,
don't
Angie.
use the same vote threshold.
We all
which
know
my understanding
why.
is a majority when those procedures are used under the parliamentary authority. I don't have any objection to considering a 2/3 threshold, but I would like to see that those procedures are used along with that higher vote threshold. So that would be my point of contention on the new language to remove that. The other consideration is just that I did send some language that I think addresses that point to the secretary, but if I don't think it's in order to introduce at this time.
Is that all, Mr. Chatterton? Okay.
Yes.
All right. Excellent. Mr. Boss.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to echo that. The original amendment that we put into the original motion, I had a reason that we put it in there, and I think we just talked ourselves back out of it, and I don't think that's a good thing.
Ms. Harlos.
I have Mr. Chatterton's language. Thank you, because I do think it's helpful for an amendment to the substitution that I'm going to make. Any LNC member being disruptive during any portion of the meeting may be excluded immediately, comma. Whoops, I'm sorry. My I have too many. I have 3 screens. According to the provisions, I'm looking at a screen at the same time, of the parliamentary, excuse any misspellings, authority, with the exception that such would require, and it would strike out upon a 2/3 vote of the LNC. That is borrowing from some of Mr. Chatterton's language for his prior one, but that would then say all of the provisions of the parliamentary. By
Tim
the
is
way, I was
mostly right
corrected
here,
by one of the authors of
except for the part where he doesn't know the difference in
Roberts.
effects
He
and
said,
effects.
"My pronouncing it that way drove
And so
me
I'm just
crazy."
going to make fun of you some.
Parliamentary authority, with the exception
all
that
spending
such
all
would
this time making
require
sure that
a
they have more
2/3 vote
rights
of
than
the LNC.
non-members.
So I think that addresses the concerns.
I'm sorry. I believe that's what I actually
It's
moved.
so
Sorry.
difficult to remove an LNC member.
At this
You can
point,
shut out a
that
member
would be
whenever.
just another amendment at this point. We can't use that one cheap trick that far.
Well, my amendment hasn't been seconded.
That
Yeah,
is
Joe, because it's to preserve their superiority over everyone else. That's why.
Now that it has been rewritten in this way, has this amendment been seconded by anyone?
I second that as the amendment being made by Mr. McGee.
Second.
Okay.
I
that is
generally
one way to cure it. Thank
don't
you.
actually worry about spelling and things, but if I can gently make fun of someone that I
Workshopping
like,
live, isn't this
going
fun? Okay, so we're back to the amendment.
The more I like you, the
by
more likely I am to make
substitution,
fun
and
of
now
you.
this is the current language here, and I see Mr. Watkins' hand
As
is raised. So, Mr.
everyone's
Watkins.
heard, if I
I was
don't
gonna
like you,
call
my
the
voice
question.
gets higher and higher and more incredulous, and I sound less and less
You're the
reasonable.
last in line. Is anyone else in line?
Is it all previous questions where we can just like move on? Because like this is ridiculous. Like, dude,
So I'm hearing you're calling all previous questions. Is there any?
Yes, yeah. Like, let's just do
calling
it.
all questions. So is it,
Calling all
you know,
questions. Calling all
is there any
questions.
opposition to calling all questions?
No, I'm running out of alcohol, so no.
Not hearing any opposition, we'll move
Cowardice
to
and
calling all
refusing
questions.
to
So
hear
first
debate.
we'll
Cowardice
move to
and
call
granting yourself
the amendment by
more
substitution
protections
as it
than
reads.
non-members have.
Ms. Harless, when you're ready. Well,
we appreciate that, Hody. It's
since this is just the amendment,
that's part of why we're
is there
here.
any
Without color
opposition to the
commentary, what is
amendment?
this for?
Not hearing
Ironically,
any of
the
the
color
opposition to
commentary
the
is from
amendment,
two of
this
the
is now
whitest
the
human
main
beings on
motion.
earth.
Now the main motion will require a roll call vote.
And I
Ms.
just want to
Carlos?
make
Amanda
this
goes
is
outside and is that
motion
way.
1.2, okay?
Can we have the main motion on the screen or someone read it? Because
I'm a vegetarian,
yes,
Kyle.
I'll read it.
I don't know why
don't
this
care
is
anymore. I
surprising
mean,
to you.
this
I have
was
no
we've
iron
been
in my
here
blood
for 45
whatsoever.
minutes on something that should have been, again, common sense motion number one.
I always make
I'll
sure
read
to
it.
have my side
The
monitors
way it
on
would
things
read if
to
adopted.
light me slightly
LNC
differently, so I'm
meetings
not
are
a
open
ghost.
to party members, except while in executive session.
You're
Non-party
so
members
vain.
may be
I have
excluded
color
from any
on.
part of the
I have,
meeting
like,
at any time at the discretion of the
color
chair,
on my face.
subject to appeal. Any party member being disruptive during any portion of the meeting may be immediately excluded upon a majority vote of the LNC. Any LNC member being disruptive during any portion of the meeting may be immediately excluded according to the provisions of the parliamentary
So as a note,
authority,
Hody,
with the exception that such would require
LP
a
Alliance has been
2/3 vote
invited
of
to
the
be guest of
LNC.
honor for the California convention.
So you can kick out non-members whenever you want. You can kick out regular members with a majority vote. You can kick out LNC members very rarely. Sorry, Kyle, go on.
Is this your motion 1.2? Did I
She
say
mad.
it was 1.2?
I'm angry that
That
yeah.
is what you said earlier.
Angry Amanda smash.
Wanted to make sure.
So, Hody, we
Mr.
are
Boss.
actually guest of honor for
Yes.
California, and we will be doing the live stream there.
Mr. Chatterton.
Yes.
So
Mr.
you'll
Dar.
get to hear some color
Oh, sorry,
commentary
you're chairing.
live throughout their entire
Mr.
convention,
Dassin.
which should be a lot of fun.
Yes.
Mr. Ford.
Yes.
I will vote yes. Ms. Hayes.
It's a motion to make them more special. That's fantastic.
Yes. Mr. Lamb.
Yes.
Mr. Malagon.
It should be fun.
Pass.
Mr.
We
McGee.
intend to lean into
Mr.
some
Nana.
of Joe's darkest fears about LPA while we're there, though.
I'll come back to him. Mr. Redpath.
I'll abstain.
Ms. Harlos, I was going to vote yes since I.
Oh, I didn't know you were back. Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Thompson.
Yes.
Mr. Benson.
Yes.
Mr. Watkins.
Yes.
Ms. Januszkiewicz.
Yes.
Mr. Maligan.
Whatever. Aye.
Mr. Nana. Did we lose Mr. Nana?
I believe so. It should be Mr. Hirsch now.
Mr. Hirsch?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Dar, it is 14-0-1.
I'll vote yes to show unity with everybody.
Oh. Okay. Is Mr. Nikela retaking the gavel?
Amanda gagging is hilarious.
That's the worst thing.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dar.
See, this is the
for carrying out that
problem when
mission.
people call for unity instead of solidarities, because unity means, oh,
It's
I'm
like
just going to
you were
agree and
storming
take
Normandy
united
and
front
then
with
noped
someone.
out and then gave him the gavel to finish
This is the
up.
problem.
That was
This
messed
is
up,
the problem
man.
with,
I mean, Mr.
with
Chair, sorry.
Yeah, he was
leadership
putting those reps
that
in,
just wants to make friends and be nice.
He was having so much fun. I didn't want to interfere.
I stand with Amanda
Fair
in
enough.
unity on this point.
I don't know whether he's doing that
All
to
right,
troll
where
me.
are we?
But if he's
Motion
sincere, I'll
number
take
2, I
it.
believe, Mr. Chair.
That is correct. Common sense motion number.
I
well,
prefer
actually,
the word
technically, it's common
solidarity.
sense motion number 3. Public list.
That's right, because the other one got moved.
Point
Why
of
not
order,
both?
all questions have been called.
I both
This
agree with
haven't been
you
moved
and like to
yet,
troll you.
So it's not, wasn't.
Yeah,
Kyle
not
agrees.
on this one, yeah.
Wait, was there no vote on? Oh,
I'll
sorry,
speed
my
on
bad.
ya.
I'm being retarded. Sorry, never mind.
Mean words.
I moved to censure Mr. McGee. I'm just kidding. No one second that. It's not a real motion. All right. So common sense motion number 3. We're skipping 2 because that was taken care of in Grand Rapids. Thanks to Ms. Harlos. So section 1.1 party records. This is public list. So it would be additional language for as long as the quote public list exists, end quote. I'm sorry, public quote public list, end quote, exists. It shall explicitly only be used for meeting links, notice, votes, potential conflicts of interest. Now, this is actually already being done. This was written at a time where it didn't seem this would be the case and this would be a whole thing. It's already being done. I'm proud of all of you for keeping to that. So this is just reiterating what we're already doing now, and I applaud everyone's efforts in keeping the public list clean and keeping all drama behind a private list, perhaps a paywall later. Who knows? If you guys want to see drama and that's why you tune
Cody
in,
agreeing with me too.
Give us money.
A couple comments.
But yeah, I think
Not
this
that
speaks for
one, the
itself.
one before.
And so I'm moving
Go
this
up.
motion.
This one?
Is there a second?
Second.
Go down.
Second, Mr. Dar, I believe.
Yes. And
I'm having a
I moved to
terrible
extend
evening.
by 15 minutes. We're out of time.
Is there a
Thank
second
you,
to extend
Odie.
time?
Second.
If not, we just go straight to a vote.
I have a point of order that I was just being polite to raise.
If no objections, we've extended for 15 minutes. And then Ms. Harlos.
Both of those. I want to go straight to a vote. I object to the point of order and to the. I'm just kidding, Ms. Harlos. Do your thing.
Okay, Mr. Chair, just give me a second to just type that I raised the point of order. The public list is governed by the bylaws, and I believe the prior JC decision addressed this, and that this narrows it down beyond the bylaws and the ruling of the JC. The discussions that have
You heard it here first, people.
gone on.
Joe is running for
not in the
chair of
public list so
LPF.
far, I think are very arguably not.
I'm purposely taking him out of
business.
context.
And
but
I don't think we've been running
I'm still for it.
afoul of the JC. I do think we have been much more professional. There's been some that have been close that I've almost raised a point of order on. and have not because, you know, it was questionable. I think if we're doing party business, the only things that can be private, according to both our bylaws, as affirmed by the Robson JC appeal decision, the only business that can be private are things that would qualify for executive session. So I think that the motion is out of order.
Mr. Chair, if I may, I can't raise my hand, so.
Are you asking for a?
Well, I just have an additional point of order. I don't.
Real quick,
so
before we get to Mr. Malagon, Ms. Harless, are you asking for the chair to make a ruling, or are you just stating an opinion?
LPA
No,
will be
I'm
starting a
raising a point of
donations
order that the motion is out of order.
link specifically
Well,
for
I
Adrian's
guess I'm
inability
raising
to
additional
raise his
point of
hand.
order.
That's
I
an
don't
unfortunate thing for
see
anyone.
how it would be. The JC made a ruling.
Objection.
It
This
will
is
be at
out of order, Mr.
lp.org/donation.
Chair.
I don't see it.
Order.
Well, hold on, Mr. Malagon, because let me address the point of order before. I do believe this is in order because provided that it does not conflict with the bylaws, I do believe the scope and the procedure as to what counts as business can be put into the policy manual.
No, Angela, sorry, I'm still
That's
having a moment.
my interpretation. It's basically telling the LNC this is the policy as to the carrying out of the bylaws mandated business list. And so I think there can be there
First in
certainly could
line
be
for Joe's
policy manual
OnlyFans.
amendments that would be out of order, but I think in this case this is technically in order. That would be my.
Can I have an OnlyFans where I just express my extreme disappointment with the
I would
LNC?
appeal
Just
the
looking dead
ruling of
into
the
camera.
chair, and after the if the
I'm pretty
chair
sure if you do
wishes to
that topless,
speak to
that will make
his
money.
ruling, I'll speak to my appeal.
Okay.
How it works.
I believe that the bylaws are
Women talking, money prints.
We have to be within the rules of we have to be within the scope of the bylaws. I think this clarifies that scope and codifies it as to what is considered within that specific scope. So I think in its current language, this to me this makes sense. I don't think this is I don't interpret this as being outside of the opinions I've read up from the JC. I think we've pretty much been doing a lot of that. There's been some more superfluous stuff on the business list that's not necessarily business. We could, but I believe that the actions that we've taken, putting that out on the list, is being within the spirit and the
slowly
letter
starting.
of the JC opinion. So, in my opinion, it is in order. But Ms. Harless, I'll let you speak
It's
to
a
your
giant shirt, by the way. This
your,
would like
your
take a
objection.
year for me.
Certainly, the JC opinion is in the OneNote, but no, I don't think we get to define what business is. And if we're going to say that discussions of things aren't business, then we don't in a meeting get to move into executive session to discuss those things. The idea of the email list, as described by the JC, was to mimic as much as possible the way meetings are conducted. It doesn't walk on all four. It's analogous, but we have to conduct it as closely as possible. So like we have executive committee discussions and meetings, we might have executive committee discussions and email, and those are perfectly fine being private. But actual business discussions, those we can't define out of existence. We can't have a different standard for our meetings logically or consistently and have a different standard for our emails. I do think that was
If I took it off, I would
absolutely
stay right here.
the spirit of the JC opinion.
Slide even
And
further down.
just as an FYI, because I think we've been really good, and I'm just going to be honest. In the spirit of unity of the LNC, I'm not going to appeal to the JC if this passes. However, I am aware that it will probably be appealed. And I would sign on to such an appeal, but I wouldn't personally be the petitioner in any such appeal because I'm trying to move forward with
Amanda
this
is now
LNC.
small Amanda.
I think if the chair just keeps order, we don't need this, and we can show that we believe in transparency and we know how to behave ourselves. I would like, for our sake and the sake of our much beleaguered JC, to not have any more appeals this this term. But this is one reason why I'm appealing it, so that there is a decision of the LNC that actually
Make sure to watch
dealt
the
with
entire
this.
stream a
I
second
think
time to
we ought
find
to
it again.
just behave ourselves as we
Just
have
under the
been,
table, you couldn't.
and move forward with professionalism. And this is not needed, but I do
Don't you
think it's out
stop
of
someone
order.
from rewatching the stream? That's free views.
All right. Is there? I'm trying to remember. Appealing of the ruling of the chair. Is that actually?
That's right,
for
Antoine.
I had my yes. Well, I had my hand raised to support your. Mr. Chatterton came up. I can't raise my hand for some reason on Zoom, so I had my hand raised before Mr. Chatterton.
Sure. And I hate to do this. It's probably more appropriate anyway. Mr. Dar, if you could actually take over, because I'm about to hop into an Uber to head back to South Beach. So
what is going on in Florida?
We just Uber everywhere.
I know a guy that can get you to from point A to point B without any transactional, whatever. But anyway, so Mr. Dar, may I speak in favor of the chair's ruling?
I'm not.
Yes, go ahead.
Except for
Thank you.
losers.
So, the JC they interpreted the bylaws in the way that they saw fit at the time. You're talking about 5 people that are, overruling the LNC, which is comprised of significantly more, I think 17 voting members at any given time. This is after the fact. So we are giving a definition to what is allowed on the public list and what it should be used for. And so let me just do a little bit of quick math here. I have been doxxed
+2
twice.
is 4. Quick math.
I have had 2 different employers contacted 4 times for stuff on the business list, and I'm not really a fan. I'd rather keep that kind of stuff in, on the back end if we're going to have disagreements or whatever, because apparently libertarians think it's fine to attempt to destroy someone's livelihood. And actually, the most recent one was done yesterday, so that was fun for me. I just think this is a common sense thing. We've already been doing it. I don't see how it's out of order. Whatever the JC decided based on their interpretations of the bylaws, we are making
agree
a
with
policy
him
manual
that going
now to
after people's
define
livelihood
what the public list
is
should be
unacceptable
and why.
unless the thing you're going after
this cry of
something that affects
transparency
that livelihood.
is kind of just a misnomer for we want to be able to screenshot things and dox people or send it to their employers or to their family members or whatever to destroy their livelihoods. And I'm not about that. So at the very least, we know that if it's on the back end, it's an LNC member being wildly unlibertarian and trying to destroy someone's livelihood and ruin their life or doing whatever. All business has been transacted on the public list. Any member of the public can contact their region rep, any at-large member. I've gotten a lot of actually emails in the last few weeks, and I respond. If it's a real question, I respond in kind. There's no lack of transparency here. There are some things that need to be kept private, and we can have it out behind closed doors. It's no different than picking up a phone and talking to whoever about your disagreements about whatever given thing. It doesn't really matter. This is just to keep things as professional as possible. While you were all in executive session, Miss Erin Adams, I believe, spoke about professionalism and some people just can't help themselves. That's the reality of the situation. We've been doing well so far, but that's not to say that we won't digress in the future. Or regress rather in the future. So I'd much rather just have this codified so that everyone understands that this is standard practice and we're good to go. I think that the chair's decision to keep this in order is absolutely correct. And I would encourage everyone to vote in favor to sustain the ruling of the chair. Thank you.
I legitimately understand where Adrian's coming from on this one, but I disagree with him.
Mr. Chatterton.
It doesn't fix the problem that he's talking about.
So having argued against
my problem with
the previous JC ruling, and not really agreeing with their decision on the matter, I do, however, think that Ms. Harlos is correct that this does not comply with the provisions of that ruling. So I agree that this is out of order. Specifically, I think their language was to the effect that bylaws require votes and actions related to motions to be included, and that the inclusion of the additional words would prohibit the exclusion of debate when debate does occur on a motion.
I have a
So
parliamentary
I
inquiry.
think that the language here would not be compliant with that, as I understand the intent for its implementation.
Did I hear somebody else wishing to be recognized?
I had a point of parliamentary inquiry, or maybe a point of order. I'm not sure which one.
Okay.
So people have just cited random things in the JC opinion and in the bylaws. Do we have actual verbiage? Because Mr. Chatterton just referenced, votes are in this language. So votes are part of what would be part of the public list. People just seem to be saying things, and there's no cited anything that we can put on the screen for everyone to see. We're just saying whatever. Does anyone have a citation, or does the chair himself have the interim chair, I guess the vice chair, have a citation or something where we can do that? And I guess to carry on that point, a JC decision that was already made and something being done after the fact, can someone explain to me, or can the chair explain to me how that has any bearing on the motion at hand? Because I'm confused.
For myself, I do not have that prepared to present at this time. I'll now recognize Mr. Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. If it pleases the chair, I would kind of just respond.
Mr. Chair, I'm sorry. As a point of we have two parliamentarians on. Would you allow Mr. Jonathan Jacobs to be recognized to speak on this?
I would object.
I would like a parliamentarian to speak on this.
Mr. Chairman, I apologize, but the member can we call the member to order?
Parliamentary inquiry that was not satisfied. So if you don't have the answer, Mr. Chair, respectfully, I would like.
I did not realize Mr. Jacobs was wishing to be recognized.
I don't know if he is. I'm just saying we have two parliamentarians, and I would like to hear from Mr. Jonathan.
Would either of the parliamentarians on the call?
I would object to that, Mr. Dar. Neither of the parliamentarians are actually retained by the LNC, and one of them argued in the JC decision, and I just don't think that.
But Hody, don't you want to show unity?
Mr. Chair, if I could reclaim the floor. I think
you
middle
to the floor right now.
To hear from one of the parliamentarians at the chair.
Just a moment, Mr. Martin. You'll be right up next. Did either of the parliamentarians wish to be recognized? Because that might not even, the objection might not even matter. I am not from either of them. So,
Mr. Chair,
yes.
Which opinion is Ms. Harlow's referring to?
Mr. Chair.
So you do wish to be recognized, and Ms. Harless is now objecting to that.
Right.
Oh.
Because I believe essentially Mr. Malagon is asking for a point of personal privilege to hear from the parliamentarians. That does get voted on by the LNC if there's an objection to the point of personal privilege.
Yes.
And
I just wanted to see if he wanted to be recognized before
he usually
putting
does
that to
get
a vote,
hurt.
because if he didn't want to be, then it didn't even matter. So yes, we can vote on if we want to hear that, since there was an objection. And since you objected, I presume that there is an objection to it, so I can't just do my quick trick of no objection. So would you mind running a vote on that, Ms. Harless?
Point of order. I believe it was raised as a point of parliamentary inquiry, which makes the point out of order. And so I would just politely suggest to the chair that he could rule the point out of order, and we could continue with discussion so we can move on. I wouldn't mind giving a parliamentarian a stab at this. It's unclear what the substance of that is and why it's germane to the discussion at this point.
JJ is routinely inappropriate.
And I see Mr. Nikela is wishing to be recognized. Does he wish to take the gavel
How's
back?
the Uber, Mr. Chair?
I am back. I am on the road. So yeah, if you want, it's up to you, Mr. Dar. If you'd like to hand it back, I am available. And
I would be happy to. I tossed the gavel back to the director.
absolutely. So it sounds like
I actually agree with
like
Adrian's facepalm here.
Discussion. There was a question as to whether or not Mr. Jacobs would be recognized. That was objected to.
That is correct.
Typically, in that situation, we just take it to a vote, majority, yay or nay. So is that what the Mr. Maligan, I think you were the one that wished to.
I think that might be where we're at, Mr. Chair. I would think that we'd want to hear from a
Get Angela's
parliamentarian on
comment.
the matter that everyone seems to be apparently an expert on. So if we're going to vote to hear what Mr. Jacobs has to say, yeah, let's go to a vote.
Mr.
All right.
Chairman, if I may, I was recognized when the point was raised, and I would be happy to just yield my time to Mr. Jonathan Jacobs if it's okay with you.
I have there's no such thing as
hold
yielding.
on. Yeah, I agree with Ms. Harlow. So we still have to vote regardless because any member who's not on the board, we would have to, if there is objection, it would be up to a majority vote of the board whether or not that person is heard from. So at this
I withdraw.
time, I'll ask all in favor of hearing from Mr. Jacobs, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3.
It's more than
4,
3.
5, 6.
Yeah, you got to count Adrian. His hand
I
is
would be
up.
7 if I can't raise my hand on the thing for whatever reason.
Okay, I'm seeing 8, and then Mr. Maligan 9, Andrew Watkins 10.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I would be 10.
Ms. Harlow, what's quorum?
We're out of time, Mr. Chair.
I'll move to extend time by 10 minutes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any objection?
Objection.
Object.
All right. Well,
Yeah, I would like to
that
hear the
would
Uber driver
supersede the current-
actually. Can the Uber driver speak?
Well,
Can
no,
the Uber driver be
actually,
heard?
since we're in the middle, let's dispense with this first. So, Ms. Harlow, what is quorum?
Well, quorum's not relevant here, but
I mean, what's the majority? I'm sorry.
well, a majority is those present and voting. If you still have to take the noes.
All right. So I've got 10 ayes for Mr. Jacobs. Those objecting to hear from Mr. Jacobs, please raise your hand. Those in objection.
Uber driver also votes an objection.
There are 2 artifacts on there.
I would like the Uber driver's parliamentary
I see
opinion,
Ms.
actually.
Hayes, Mr. Thompson, Mr. Hirsch.
Artifact from
I
the
want the
ayes.
voice of the
So there's
people.
only 3, so it's 10
Sorry,
to 3.
mine is an artifact.
Okay, so the ayes looks like the ayes have it. So now we are on the extension of time, which if we extend, we'll hear from Mr. Jacobs. There was an objection.
I recognize the Uber driver.
So all in favor of extending for 10 minutes, please raise your hand.
I'm trying to take mine down, and I can't take mine down, Mr. Chair.
5, 6, 7. I won't include you in the tally. 2, 3, 6.
that's a hell of a screenshot right
I'm
there.
seeing 6 in favor of extending time.
7 if you count me. I count
7. And I see 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plus Mr. Maligan. That's 8.
By
All
saying you
those
do not recognize
objecting
me,
to the
Joe,
extension of time,
you
please raise your
implicitly
hand.
recognize me.
I just have to bring this down here so that's approximate what Amanda said.
All those objecting, please raise your hand. I see Ms. Harlow's, Mr. Dar, Mr. Thompson, Ms. Hayes.
This has been going on for 2.5 hours, and there's
Okay, so that's only
170
3.
people listening to us be idiots while this happens.
Thank you,
The-
emotional support chat.
All
I still
right,
feel terrible.
The
but
LP
I-
doesn't
impact, so-
understand how important we are to the LP right now.
So the ayes have it to extend
Because
time for 10
5
minutes.
people would have watched
So we will
this
go ahead and
outside of
extend
that.
time.
Well,
Mr.
maybe they
Jacobs, you
fear
have the
that.
floor, sir.
Maybe that's why they fear us and hate us.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would need a question, or I would have a question as to what opinion is being referred to, because I might not have an opinion if it is not the one I'm thinking of.
Oh, you
I
always have an
believe
opinion,
Mr.
Tom.
Maligan had asked for you to be.
So, I mean, Mr. Chair, I can put it
Sure.
quickly. So, whether this motion was in order or not is the question.
Okay, but which JC opinion was being referred to?
I believe the one about the public list. So that would have been the one in December, the last one, I think, whichever one that was.
Okay, not the one.
If I may, JJ, it's Robson versus the LNC.
I was mistaken. It was Van Alstyne, I
Oh,
believe.
excuse me.
Ms. Robson,
I'll
I
be
think,
right back
argued
while
it. Wait, hold on. I can look
Yes,
it up on
um,
LPDA.
I have that opened already. It was Robson versus LNC, and
Okay,
it was
thank you.
Ms. Van Alstyne and myself that spoke for the separate sides on that.
Myself did not
Okay,
speak for anyone because it's a Reflexive pronoun.
Basically, I hate to tell you all
God, I
this, but
hate that.
I've not formed an opinion on that opinion in particular. I would note that there would be certain things in here with this, with the way that this rule is worded, that would clearly not be a violation of anything that the LNC has, or excuse me, that the JC has determined.
Bringing this comment back.
So that it would not be universally out of order.
Man is AFK for a second.
There may be certain things that would be applied.
Just me and Tyler right now. The rest of you get wrecked.
But I think that the rule would have to be completely and totally out of order. In order to rule it out of order. I know that it sounds a little bit convoluted, but if something would, the rule could still be,
something was convoluted?
Be out of order, but something enacted under that rule could be out of order. Does that make sense?
Yes,
probably not.
No, actually, well, to me, it made sense.
Probably not, but I believe it would be in order on that ground, but that does not imply that any action taken under that rule would be in order.
Point of inquiry, Mr. Jacobs. This is Meredith Hayes. And I might be asking a very dumb question right now. I apologize. But as far as I'm concerned, does the JC opinion have like the force of law?
I would have to take a look at that. I think it could be binding unless it was something that was taken in violation of the bylaws.
Thank you.
And I'm not really, I would have to take a look at that opinion very seriously and give you a much more educated answer than I'm capable of doing right now with this just being popped up. But the rule would be such that something enacted under it may or may not be out of order. But I don't believe the rule in its totality would be out of order. So probably be in order to permit it. It would of course be subject to appeal to the JC as well. So there you have it. That's it for me.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to call up previous questions.
All right, there's a motion to call up previous questions. So that would include the appeal, that would include the main motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any objection to calling all previous questions?
Object.
All right, we'll go ahead and move on to a vote. I believe that it's a 2/3.
Yes.
2/3. All right, all in favor of calling all previous questions, raise your hand. All right, I'm seeing 10 hands. Mr. Malagon, are you unable to raise your hand?
Yeah, so I'm 12. I just counted. I would be the 12th person to raise their hand.
I'm seeing 10. I think you'd be 11, unless there's somebody else here.
Let me just double check it.
I'm seeing 10 as well, Mr. Chair.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I would be 11. Someone there would have been an artifact. Apologies.
All right, and then all opposed to calling all previous questions, please raise your hand. That's 10-1. Going once,
I
going
respect
twice,
that
going
vote.
3 times.
That
All right, I believe that's
defies
2/3.
lockstep
So we'll
unity
move
for the
on
sake
to
of
roll
getting
call
along
vote.
to go along.
Madam Secretary, on
I respect that vote.
the appeal of the ruling
That
of the
man
chair.
is a scholar and a friend.
And as a point of parliamentary inquiry, Mr. Chair, an aye vote would sustain your ruling and a nay vote would overturn your ruling. Is that correct?
That is correct.
One brave person on
Need
the
to
island.
duplicate a ballot. Give me 1 second. Okay. Mr. Boss. I will come back. Mr. Chatterton.
Pass, please.
Since Adrian hasn't been under McCardle, Adrian has been much less
Mr. Dassing.
against the reason that we
Yes, to uphold the ruling of the chair.
Mr. Ford.
Yes, please.
I will vote no. Ms. Hayes.
Yes.
Mr. Lamb.
Yes.
Mr. Maligan.
Aye.
Mr. McGee.
Aye.
Mr. Nana.
No.
Mr. Redpath.
No.
Sorry, as a point of parliamentary, that was Mr. Hirsch. Mr. Nana is not here.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Maligan. Mr. Thompson.
No.
Mr. Benson.
Yes.
Mr. Watkins.
Yeah.
Ms. Yanuskavich.
Yes.
Mr. Bost. Did we lose Mr. Bost?
Yes.
Mr. Chatterton.
I can pass again while the other people vote.
Mr. Ford.
Actually, I abstain. I'm sorry, Madam Secretary.
All right.
Yes,
my God.
Hoodie, you're correct.
I'll say
Because
yes.
people are cowards.
They voted to not even
So,
hear
back
the
to you, Mr.
motion,
Chatterton.
Cody.
They voted not to hear debate.
Vote no.
So it's like the motion never came
Mr.
up.
Chair, it's
Nothing happened
9
at
yes,
all.
6 no,
It just
1
went away.
abstention.
As a point of parliamentary inquiry, would the chair voting yes on his own motion to sustain his own ruling, would that be the 2/3 threshold? Is
I
that
don't
correct?
think they're
Doesn't
slurs
require a 2/3.
when they're just
His
factual
ruling is
descriptors of comment.
sustained as it is.
Oh, apologies.
All right, so 9-6. That's 2/3.
There were
So,
only
Cody, I
four
kept
that
the
voted
list.
the motion is in order since all previous motions were called.
It was like
Then that means we'll
Dar,
go immediately to the vote
Harlos,
of the motion in question. So, Ms.
obviously
Harlos,
Redpath.
whenever you're ready
I don't
for
remember the fourth.
Was
for a ballot.
Mr. Bost.
Second.
Pass.
Mr. Chatterton.
It was
No.
Thompson.
Oh, that makes sense.
Sorry. Mr. Dar.
No.
Mr. Dassing.
Yes.
Mr. Ford.
Pass. I just got back. Thank you.
I will vote no.
I just
Ms.
got back.
Hayes?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Lamb.
Yes.
Mr. Maligan.
Jesse, mute.
Aye.
Mr. McGee.
Aye.
Mr. Nana.
No. Hirsch. Mr. Hirsch.
Oh, God. Thank you. Thank you so much. Mr. Hirsch. You were no?
No.
Thank you. Mr. Redpath.
No.
Mr. Thompson.
This is Coward.
No.
No.
Oh, this is Mr. Coward. Okay, thank you. Mr. Benson.
Yes.
Mr. Watkins.
Yeah.
Ms. Yanuskavich.
Yes.
Mr. Bost.
Abstain.
Mr. Ford.
Yes.
It's, 961. I believe there is a question as to whether this is a special rule of order or a standing rule.
Still 2/3, correct?
If it's a special rule of order,
9-6.
which I believe it is, it would require 2/3.
Okay. Well, in either case, it does pass.
If it was a standing rule, it would.
Wait, so just as a point of parliamentary inquiry, is the secretary saying that if Mr. Nikela votes aye, the motion passes? If he abstains or votes no, the motion does not pass?
No, Mr. Maligan. I'm saying the question rests right now on the vote threshold. Under either vote threshold, Mr. Nikela's vote won't make a difference. If it requires a 2/3 vote because it's a special rule of order, it would fail no matter what Mr. Nikela voted. If it was a standing rule, which would require a majority, it would pass no matter how Mr. Nicola voted.
So the question now becomes whether it's a standing rule versus a special rule. Is that my understanding?
Yes, Mr. Maligan.
Could we get a ruling on that? Because that seems very innocuous.
Adrian is correct. That is innocuous.
Because I think it's a standing rule, but no.
I move to extend time by 3 weeks.
We need Mr. Ford to
Second.
say, I don't want this meeting to ever end.
Second.
Amanda's
So is the
finally gotten a
question-
meeting
I'm
long
no
enough for all of the
mathematician, but
debate she
isn't-
wants.
Isn't this 2/3?
And not a
No, in
little
order
bit of
for it
debate
to be
happened.
2/3,
Not
the yeses
one
have to be
measly
twice
iota
as
of
many
debate.
as the nos.
It's so I guess my point of parliamentary inquiry is this a standing rule of order or a special rule of order? If it's special, then it doesn't matter what happens, but if it's standing, it's passed as is.
Correct. That is the question. That's what we all are looking to hear.
Give me one moment here. Can you scroll back up to the language?
My phone's dropping. My phone won't cooperate with me. I sent Kyle a text.
Let me see here. All public zero streamers. It's interest. Do any of our resident parliamentarians want to give any input whether or not this is a standing rule versus a
Are you
special
calling?
rule?
Are you calling and do I have permission?
Without objection, Mr. Jacobs, and if other parliamentarians on the call, I would ask for their input as well.
In my opinion, it is a special rule because it does deal with the transaction of business within a meeting or in a meeting-like situation, or the duties of the officers thereunto.
Holy shit, JJ actually
that would be my first blush. It's the
ruled
only thing
this
that
the way
create a
that I would
problem
expect a
is that
parliamentarian
this is
to.
not being done within an actual meeting, but it is being done in a meeting-like
Adam,
circumstance.
yes, I agree with you there.
I believe Mr. Brown has some comments.
Robert's rules should
Mr.
die
Brown,
an
you're
ignoble
recognized.
death.
Robert's rules are fabulous.
It's a very close
It's not even the
call,
best
but in my
parliamentary
opinion, and apparently based
order.
on what Mr. Jacobs
Oh,
just said,
so
I
is.
would concur with him. This has to
The
do
other
with
ones
the
are
orderly
awful.
conduct of business in a meeting and with the duties
I mean,
of
they are,
officers.
but like
I
relative to
believe
Roberts.
it is in the nature of a special rule of order and not a standing rule. The standing rule
Thank you, Angela.
normally has to do with the administrative affairs of an organization, such as who signs the checks, who shall be responsible for
Roner is
opening
not
the clubhouse,
intended to be used
that
as a
sort of
weapon.
thing. If
And
it
so
has
when you
to
have
do
a
with the
bad faith
conduct
board,
of
it comes
business
off as it's
in a
horrible.
meeting,
What is
and this is
what is
essentially a meeting,
politics?
it would be a
I would
special
use
A
rule of
board
order.
should not be a bad faith
Although
board.
it's a close call,
But it
I would say
is.
believe
Like, I
it's
mean,
more
this
in
is
the
this is
If a
part of
board is a bad
partisanship.
faith board, you should be removing people.
Well, you should, but this is a routine problem, and so
Well, the
you
fact
should
it is
have a
Only
supplementary,
with
I
ours.
guess would make it
no with many.
it would make it a special rule. So
With
in that
many.
case, then motion fails for lack of 2/3 vote.
Amanda
with
would
Tyler.
vote for Stanith Baratheon.
I'm with Tyler. I like holacracy.
Mr. Chair, I move to adjourn.
All right, there's a motion
Second.
to adjourn
Object.
and a second. We'll go
Common sense motion number one.
There's a motion and a second.
Consensus adjournment motion number 1.
Madam Secretary, if you can.
I actually don't like Roner for other reasons too. I feel that
It's because
doesn't
it
allow
wasn't
for
used
spontaneity.
by the. It wasn't
Actually,
used
I don't
by
know what
revolutionaries in the Russian.
I don't know what they used. I think they did use a rule. They did use parliamentary order. I don't think it was Roberts. John Ponte might know. Sounds like the kind of thing John Ponte would know.
And we're fighting the state hard tonight.
Becoming a state.
If we subject the state to this, they'll cave.
Is that what we call this?
The night is young. I could still end up in a Grand Theft Auto 6 trailer. So,
Mr. Brown's hand's raised, and I don't know if that's an artifact, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Brown objects to leaving.
Okay, it was an artifact.
It's an artifact.
Joe,
Mr.
that is
Box?
collectivistic. Yes, Heartland, I agree.
Oh, are we voting to adjourn? Yes.
Mr. Chatterton?
Holacracy is the least bad.
Mr. Dar?
So false.
It's not.
Yes.
Mr. Dassing?
Abstain.
Mr. Ford?
Yes.
I will vote no. Ms. Hayes?
Oh, hell yes.
Mr. Lamb?
Oh, man.
No.
Mr. Malagon?
Aye.
Mr. McGee?
Aye.
Mr. Nana?
Yes, Mr. Hirsch.
I mean, Mr. Hirsch. I'm sorry. Mr. Redpath?
No.
Is it going to be Mr. Thompson or Ms. Coward?
There'll be one of us. Yes.
Mr. Vincent?
Yep.
Mr. Watkins?
Sorry, yes.
To adjourn,
Ms. Gabbard?
Rachel. Motion to adjourn.
Yes. Mr. Chair, it is 10:03:2. It doesn't seem to add up right. There's missing a vote. It's another one of those that didn't add up right, but in either event, it would have been, won't make a difference.
motion passes. We are adjourned as of 9:55 p.m.
You did literally
Madam
nothing
Secretary, I might have an
except for
idea why
gave
that's
yourself
occurring.
more
After the-
authority and privilege.
I have something to ask the chair first, but if you could let me know, God, I would so
Sure.
appreciate it. Mr.
Genuinely,
Chair, I'm
all of
gonna ask
them.
you to
Heartland,
unilaterally
genuinely all
sponsor
of
a
them.
motion for me. I need to get Tennessee an answer on whether or not we can amend their vote totals, which was on the agenda. And I do think Tennessee had every right to get this issue resolved. So rather than me having to go through getting sponsors, if you would agree to just sponsor that motion to get a vote on
I
it
think we
going
hear
on.
from Tennessee. I don't think that they even knew this was happening. That was my.
Yes, I did. I've been in contact with the chair multiple times.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
No, sir.
Oh, is this something about Access related, or is this totally different?
No,
I'm sorry.
I have to by the end of next month. This is delegate allocation related. And I had an objection from Tennessee, from the chair of Tennessee. I can forward to the LNC the emails.
Josiah's
from the
pissed off
Tennessee
because he
chair.
didn't do his due
Well,
diligence.
so the
as a
meeting has
chair.
already ended, and if Tennessee
This is
wants to-
informal. I'm asking the chair a
next
question.
month, it's not pressing. This should require sponsors. We need to hear from Tennessee. I'm going to reach out to them myself and see what they want, how they want me to vote on this. I mean, this is we're done.
You guys, I sent you an amendment for the remaining item that I'd like to onto the next agenda.
Yeah, this is very informal.
That's right.
Karen, I'm checking at the hotel, or at the hotel, at the apartment, so I gotta get up there. But we can talk.
Very
after.
much
weird
welcome
confusion.
anybody who's interested
Hotel
in
versus
working
apartment?
with me to actually like really make some gains on the ground, add some value to the states, and
Those
really
are two very different things.
do stuff that's a lot more rewarding than what we did tonight. I really invite you to work with me because it's going to work. It's going to be done. People are already doing it in the liberty movement, and we need to get our organization up to par. The way to do it isn't to beat each other over the head with policy.
Mr. Martin, I have
That's just my opinion.
but I have a personal
Very
favor to
Meredith,
ask you.
yes.
Yes, ma'am.
And that is, each member has different priorities. And I know you're so new and so eager, and I love that. But please don't put down things that are important to other people. And policy is important to other people. Mr. Malagon's motions, I happen to think were very important. Mr. Malagon did as well. So in the interest of mutual respect, if we could not put down
Oh,
other
of course,
people's-
there's no denigration implied there. I've passed similar policies in my own affiliate that were, in my opinion, more carefully crafted. But
please,
I agree with the
Mr.
importance and the
Martin.
necessity of those policies, and I applaud that. And
Okay,
so
but please don't insult.
it's not
saying-
intended as an insult in any
I
way.
look forward to hearing the song about this later. I'm going to leave. Meeting's adjourned. Good night, guys. Have a
There's
good one.
nothing worthy
Have
of
a good
song
night,
here,
Mr.
buddy.
Malagon.
You gotta do better.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah, I'm
Hey,
just asking you
so-
personally, Mr. I know you don't see it that way, Austin, now that we're out of the
It's not
meeting.
intended to put anybody down. It's about our strategic focus as
No,
an organization, right?
He has a point. He's making it badly, but he
I
has a
wasn't
point.
talking about that.
Not
I
as
was
an
saying-
end in itself, and that's my point.
I wasn't actually talking about that portion. I was talking about where you took a dig at the crafting of the motions. That's just not necessary. Now, you can do that
I
if you
feel
want.
like it's my honest opinion that the motions.
You know,
were a
I
little bit
have some
hasty.
honest opinions, and not everything that comes into our head has to come out our mouths. That's
It's
all
not
I'm
a
saying.
crack at anyone. It's to talk about the work product that's under discussion as official business. So if I'm not allowed to have an opinion about the quality of that material, that would be unfortunate.
If I could interrupt both of you, Karen Ann, I fully took what Austin said as a joke, as there were many other jokes similarly about the length of the meeting this evening. I didn't take it in any negative light. I mean, this was important business we had to get to tonight. I feel that Mr. Martin is a bit frustrated that his motion wasn't heard, that we adjourned before we got there, as was yours. That's why I voted not to adjourn the meeting, is because I thought both were very important. So again, I think it was just a joke.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Lamb.
This will not be included in the official one.
It'll be included
there
here.
were,
So we care about
multiple
showing you
motions.
things.
There was Mr. Martin's, there was the Tennessee one,
I'm on
and
the
there
LNC tonight.
was
We
Mr.
believe that you should hear all their bickering.
Committee motion, and I think they all
Cody,
should have
don't
been
hate the LP, hate the
personally, so
LNC.
that's why
But
I
I'm in a
voted
mood
no
too.
as well.
And
And
we're gonna
with
work
public comment as well.
on
I
this
mean,
together.
if you remember the very first meeting,
I don't
I
even
had
hate the LNC.
privilege to participate in, public comment was voted
I-
down.
I
and I think
hate
it's
the
very important for
cowardice
us to have
displayed
that
this evening.
included in some of our meetings.
I hate the
especially
cowardice
given,
and
this
the
was an extension
disregard
of the
for
in-person
what is
meeting, so I
actually important
wanted
about
to
a
hear
meeting.
from the public as well.
I agree with that.
It's
And just
every
to
time
be
Andrew
clear,
Chatterton
I can be
talks,
dense
like
sometimes.
an angel dies.
I'm honestly confused as to what's being referred to as a joke or an insult. I didn't mean to offer offense, so I'm sorry if I was
Do
sloppy.
you
Or
have roosters in the background?
I do.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Thank you. I was feeding
You're
them
very
earlier.
welcome, Meredith.
So
It's,
I was
just took them out
enjoying
of my space.
the
I-
rooster interruption.
They're great, and you can't avoid them if you go anywhere in public. They're everywhere.
What
It's
Austin is
islandy
telling
out
us right
here.
now is that cocks are all over the land.
Okay, well, I think I'm the host, so when I shut this room
balls.
down, it's going to get shut down. So I
The
hope
thing that we've been
everyone
calling
has
cowardice
an
is the fact
awesome
that so
evening.
many people were
Much
against
love,
even
everybody.
hearing the
Likewise.
motion.
Good night.
Good night.
I'm referring to something else.
Bye.
Good night,
Follow.
everybody.
Good night.
Bye.
All right. So to respond to Meredith's point here, and like it is not a personal attack against anybody. There's a personal attack against some people. It is not a personal attack against everyone that voted no on it. By the point Adrian and Meredith voted, it was late enough that it wasn't going to change anything.
It still matters.
I understand that. I'm not saying that it doesn't, but like, it is a different thing to vote like in the interest of time as opposed to I don't want to hear things.
I don't think it
Right.
is. But you can finish your point, and then I'll go in.
I think intention matters, but
I know, and I have a problem with there being an interest of time argument. But I want you to finish your point.
I think that the people who were voting against it specifically to stop all possible discussion on the point are cowardly. I think that's why Aaron Lamb voted that way. I think that's why basically all the people that are still right in Angela's ass and Heiss's ass, all those people are 100% voting because they don't want that discussion to happen because they're afraid of what will come out of it. That even though they know the vote wasn't there for censure, they are afraid that it'll stir more people up who are mad about the situation in New Hampshire, Colorado. I think there is no doubt of cowardice for those people. Being too afraid to hear an argument, you are a coward. When the argument is like, oh my God, nothing's happening, we just need to get done. Like, I don't like, Joe didn't think it was cowardice. Joe thought that the people were trying to get past the thing and that it didn't matter. So I don't think that having the idea that we need to go ahead and this is what your region wanted. That's fair too, if your region has reached out. I will share that one for people. But I am quite confident of Andrew Chatterton, Pat Ford / Ben Weir, etc. Having voted to stop discussion. And so that makes a big negative thing to my mind. I personally, and this is going to get me crucified by some of the folks watching, I personally believe that as for the person that I know Meredith to be, that she was not trying to shut down discussion. She's a lawyer. Her job is to argue with people. I understand anger there, and I'm not telling you that because I disagree with you that you're wrong. It's just where I see it.
The interest of time, there are many things that take a long time. That doesn't make them irrelevant or unimportant because they take a long time. Saying that in the interest of time, you're going to vote, or someone, whomever, is going to vote against debate is not valid when so much of the import of these meetings is discussion and debate. If it's substantive discussion and debate, and it's meaningful, it should be held. Interest of time is not a valid reason to shut down what is perhaps most meaningful about bringing people here to watch these meetings. And I'm not just talking as well. There's the vote on hearing debate on the censure motion. Then there's the interest of unity, voting in unison with everyone else on something that you may or may not agree with. As a member of the board, you're meant to either, it depends on your philosophy, you are either meant to represent constituencies or you're meant to show your own opinion based on your interpretation of the situation, your leadership, whatever. There are various views on that. When you shut yourself down in the interest of unity, that doesn't give me confidence. And it doesn't give me a great sense of leadership that unity is going to take precedence over what you actually believe. That was such a huge problem with the last administration, with the McCardle tenure. Is we were always talking about unity, unity, unity. And that was being weaponized over and over and over to shut people down. Unity is not the most important thing in politics. Things like solidarity are important, but the way that is exhibited is through debate. It's through principled debate. And it's arguing on principles, not on personality, not on anything like that. It's arguing on the basis of what you believe to be right, and from those principles, rationalizing a viewpoint. You can disagree, and you do it respectfully, and you do it on principle, and that shows people the kind of party that we are. Obsequious unity is not the way, and bickering over personalities is not the way.
That's a very fair point. I don't know if your audience totally heard you there, as
I know there's a debate in the chat. There's a
debate is a very
I would not call it a debate. There are personal attacks being levied in the chat, and I don't love it. And I think I'm not going to tell anyone to stop, but I don't approve of it.
It
yeah, sure.
No matter what, I think there is a way to end this one. Unless you have anything else that we should be adding tonight, Amanda, I think we just call it.
If you had something else, feel free. But I think if you want to call it a night, that's cool. Joe, motion to adjourn.
I agree with Joe.
Rachel doesn't want to adjourn. Rachel objects.
Luckily, this podcast is not ruled by Roner because Amanda's pissy about it. So we're out of here. Motion to extend meeting denied.